Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ultimate Schmoedown after show. My name is John Barr, and oh boy, what a week. What a week we have, folks, to talk about. I'm looking at these notes just to make sure I got my math right. We have 7 matches we're going to be talking about here on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. A little change of pace, but that's what we got to do when we got this much great Schmoedown to talk about. And joining me, of course, to talk about this week, first off, as always, is Boggs. How are you, my friend?
I'm all good, yeah. So 7 big matches. You know, we've got great guests on. We've got a great collision show. Super excited. So yeah, but the best thing is seeing you guys every week this time for a couple of hours. So that's my favorite part of the week.
Oh, me too. Me too. Except for every other week when I get money for my job. But other than that, this is the best. Okay. Oh, no, the money, capitalism. But one person that, of course, we always are excited to see, regardless of how much money we do or don't have, is Saul. Saul, how are you?
Doing good. I just got back from Orlando. It was my niece's 4th birthday, so we went to Disney World, so that was a lot of fun. And then also the first home game this season for Inter Miami yesterday, so I'm coming off on a really good weekend.
There you go. You love to see it. And guess what else you love to see? Colin Morris. Colin, how are you doing?
Not good, clearly.
Oh, no. At what point will he... Do we have to say it for him?
Okay, well, you know what? Besides going mute, I crashed my car into a deer, so that was fun. And now just feeling the side effects of that. So I'd rather be here than on the side of the road at 2 a.m.
And we're very lucky and pleased to have you here with us, buddy. And everyone in the chat, please show your support to our dear buddy Colin Morris down here. Let him know he's loved.
If you guys want, you guys.
That's true. Hey, and speaking of, guess what else we're going to be dropping? Streamlabs, super chats. Don't forget, folks, this show is like PBS. It's brought to you by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
Well done.
And you can donate, of course, through Streamlabs or Super Chat. Have a nice little message pop up on screen or get read by us. If you are a member of John Rocha's Patreon, patreon.com/John Rocha, you can actually come on and ask some of our wonderful guests questions that you have, or you can drop them in the Discord if you don't want to come on camera and have the wonderful Saul read them out. But another thing Saul likes to do is read out the comments from last week. Anybody who had left us a comment underneath the episode once it was all wrapped up, we love to just see how you all felt about the episode, do a nice little check-in, and that's what it's time for. So, Saul, take it away.
All right, first we have from Drunken Prayer. Felix seems like a good dude. Looking forward to seeing more of him, and I need Paige to take me to a dive bars in Boston now. I think Paige needs to take all of us to a dive bar. That would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We may need to give it a few months, depending on what's going on with the Delta, but definitely adding it to the calendars for sure.
100%. And then we have Jeremy Miller going, awesome show with Felix talking about his upbringing into the Schmoedown and Paige being her badass self. More love for Paige. We love Paige here.
Of course we do.
And then we have Chris. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, no spoilers. We're probably going to be talking about her next week as well, it would seem. Mm-hmm. So get excited for that. But yes, all the other comments.
And then our last comment here from Chris Taylor. Enjoyed learning about Felix, made me intrigued for his next match. Oh, and before I forget, SOGs forever.
This guy.
I'm on board with it. I think I'm the only one of the show who's a fan of SOGs. Colin, I don't know where you land on it, but I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of SOGs.
I'm a fan of any fandom that's strong enough to ship, and I'm just happy that we've reached that status of shipping. So, all you jawliners out there, watch out. We hear you.
Oh, sure. I was going to say Jonas, because I combined Morris and... Oh, no, that would be Boris.
Boris, yeah.
These are all reaches, and we have bigger reaches to talk about.
AOL is better. AOL.
That's very good. But
we're both so easy to use, no wonder we're number one.
No wonder we're number one. Well, match number one. Segue. that we're going to be talking about is a Star Wars championship match. We had some incredible championship play in this match, and we are incredibly blessed to have one of those two competitors joining us today once again onto the Ultimate Schmoedown After Show. Everyone, please give a big welcome to Laura Lights Out Kelly. Hello.
Oh, that's a very warming welcome. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. We are so glad to have you back, not only just to have you here on the show, but to be talking about you once again in the championship environment. I mean, obviously, you know, regardless of how the match went, how are you feeling after just an insane high-stakes performance at that?
You know, it's been a lot of ups and downs because, you know, losing is just like the worst. But overall, I'm really pleased with how it went. Like the speed round wasn't my round, and that's I mean, we can just get that out of the way, like duh. But the rest of it went really well besides that. So I, you know, at the end of the day, it could have been worse. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. In 30 minutes, I might be in a different spot with it. So hopefully in an hour, I'll be out getting margaritas with some friends, and I won't be thinking about it at all.
There you go. And we're certainly going to do the best to make sure these 30 minutes are all just about praising you, because you did do a really incredible job. Bugs, obviously, you're perhaps the biggest Star Wars expert of the four of us regular hosts. And we've been seeing some really great... Of the four of us, yeah. That's Colin. Don't argue with me. Colin, win against Brennan even once. But yeah, Boggs.
We're tied.
Is that true? Oops. Well, Boggs, at the very least, I trust you when it comes to Star Wars. And, I mean, I don't know if you would question this at all, but in my mind, even with the already incredible tournament matches that we've had from that first Star Wars tournament, this is one of my favorite Star Wars matches we've had this year by a mile.
No doubt. You know, two elite performers, you know, high stakes. You know, Laura's been waiting on that title shot for a while now, you know, so that was highly anticipated and stuff. But, yeah, just, well, first of all, Laura, you know, how was your how's the overall reaction been afterwards, and how have you what's the right thing? Just like cope with everything. And obviously, you know, I know you've covered it now, but you know, because you waited on, because my thought going into the match was that you did wait quite a long time for that. So, you know, Dimalanta played Damon twice, you know, having the speed round, you know, in gameplay practice kind of thing. You know, you opened the season and you had to wait, you know, how long now? Like maybe 3 or 4 months before that match. So I'm wondering, what was your going in? Sorry, how was the anticipation for you going in?
You know, it was a lot more laid back than I would have expected. It's been kind of nice sort of getting used to this digital format. I definitely feel like at the beginning of the year, I had finally reached a spot where I was very comfortable in it. So it all felt very relaxed, very calm. And I was just kind of ready to go in and have fun. I really didn't have a ton of expectations. I was sort of coming off of a busy June, a busy month with work and, you know, just life, unfortunately. So I kind of, you know, I did my fair share of studying, did a lot of practice with the speed rounds, but yeah, besides that, it really kind of went as well as I think it could have. I think there's always anticipation. There's always worry that like there's going to be one of those questions where you challenge and they don't know the right answer, but you know the right answer, but they don't give it to you. I mean, that's always kind of a worry. I feel like that gets sort of less and less. And the more diplomatic and friendly you are about it, I feel like the more likely they are to hear you out. But that's, you know, that piece of it I've sort of gotten past, because even in my first in-studio match, I you know, the need to challenge presented itself, and I felt like I tried to handle it as best I could, and I've learned a lot since then. So it was really, the recording the match itself was really fun, and I had a good time. You know, I feel like we were kind of all, it felt very laid back. But yeah, coming off of it, I'm still very happy with how it went overall, but also, you know, cognizant of the work that's left to be done.
Absolutely. It's also interesting to note Jeremy Miller in the chat pointing out the layoff was about as long as Ace's last season, but Laura didn't look rusty at all. It is very interesting to kind of think about, whereas you, Laura, have had to wait a little bit since your match with Molly Damon to be able to get to this shot, whereas Andrew Dimalanta, like, since winning the belt, has kind of been put up against the ropes quite frequently. So I kind of want to bounce it on over to Colin, who's obviously the #1 Star Wars fan of the four of us regular hosts. Kind of going into this, were you worried more about how often Andrew was kind of getting put up against the ropes and whether that would lead him to a breaking point? Or obviously there's always that argument of ring rust kind of going into these matches. Which thing were you more worried about as far as the players and their dear mental health?
Ring rust wasn't a concern at all for me, at least. Sorry, I forgot that question wasn't.
No, you're good.
That's fair.
No, I mean, with Andrew Dimalanta, I mean, we all know how intense he is, so I'll let you get to it. But yeah, that, at least for me, there was no way.
Yeah, it didn't seem to me like ring rust was going to be an issue for you because it was in the digital sphere. I would have felt more inclined to lean towards Andrew in that sense if it was live, just in terms of like how many fights he'd been in recently. That would have been more in his favor. But since it was digital, I mean, I almost get the sense that, like, besides not having Mark and Christian yelling in your headphones, sitting at home playing along with his matches is, just as good a practice as it is sitting there in the match doing it. So you still get the same conditions. You're able to do it under the same, kind of safety blanket of home. So had just as much faith in you go to, no matter what. It just seemed that, like, round one is just one of the more, I would say it's probably the most interesting round one we've had in a Star Wars match in a really long time that didn't involve somebody getting a perfect round or two people getting a perfect round. Like, that was, like, awesome. You guys felt like human for a moment, like, like, it was like, oh my gosh, like, we're like, oh man, the question writers did it again, because it felt like the Ace Alex Damon match where they're pulling out some crazy round one questions that would be round 3 questions at a regular season or a tournament match, and it was clear they were doing it here too. So it's just awesome to see that round one definitely brought it out of you, and to be up 9-7, that was perfect.
Ooh, I felt good about that, I gotta say. By the end of round one, I was just like, yes! Like, even if this goes downhill from here, like, this feels good. But yeah, I did talk to a couple competitors afterwards. I was messaging with some of them who said, like, wow, those Oscars, do you think we have to memorize all the Oscar stuff now? Like, the implications of that round one were like, and I was just like, I don't know. That thing about Revenge of the Sith was like something I learned just recently. And thank God I wrote it down. For some reason, it stuck inside my head. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting round one. And I appreciate you saying that it made us look human, because it can only be so interesting to have perfect round ones for so long. And I, say that as a person who's had perfect round ones, and they certainly feel good, but I totally agree. It may not be as interesting to watch.
It's like tennis to me. Like, Star Wars is the Star Wars trivia is like tennis here in the Schmoedown. Like, you have people that will go all the distance, and all it takes is one little hiccup. But the fact that you were both given inches here and there made it one of the more, like John and Boggs said before, probably the most entertaining Star Wars match we've had all year, just in terms of the jabs that were being thrown across. Boggs, back to you.
Yeah, so by the way, I think that really came across, Laura, as well, how relaxed you were in the, I think that was like the most you seemed to enjoy yourself in the kind of opening, and all that, the kind of Watto jokes and stuff like that is, I was actually going to do an impression, but I'm not.
Do it!
Annie, my boy! Annie!
Yeah,
You can't put that out there and then not do it.
I literally can do that. Just Annie. That's it. That's the only thing.
I don't have one, so I'm just like, that's why I didn't make an attempt during the match.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to make an attempt anywhere else in my life, including here. But sure. Man, that was a very grand silly.
Oh, hello there, it's me, Watto. Oh, it's me, your best friend Watto. Let's go to Brazen Star Wars, Master Frodo.
Oh,
he's not Irish. So. But can we also get to that?
Huh?
Can we get to that challenge as well, Laura? Where you've challenged the number, as you said. Did you feel like, because you kind of covered it there as well at the start, that maybe in hindsight, maybe you weren't pushy enough, or just what were your overall kind of thoughts on that? Or because obviously you did win the challenge, but what was the overall thoughts?
Yeah, no, I definitely have learned my lesson, because the first time I ever played a match, in studio and had to challenge, I was not quite as easygoing about it and maybe not quite as friendly about it. And they didn't include any of that in the actual match in the tape, but that footage is out there somewhere.
Nerd Chronic, run it back. Run it back.
Yeah,
Nerd
of
Chronic.
me being a total jerk. And so, you know, I remember afterwards, like, feeling really rude about it, but I was also just like, I traveled really far to be here, and you're not going to tell me that I'm wrong when I'm not.
Yes.
So but this time around, you know, after watching, I think, all the tournament last year, and you bring in these high caliber players that are very much ready to pounce on a challenge the minute something comes up, or, you know, just fight tooth and nail for those extra points when they need them. I've sort of learned to present it in a more diplomatic way. And that's something that I think I sort of wish somebody would have told me at the beginning, of be like, hey, maybe you don't have to be like such a jerk about this. You could just like talk calmly into your microphone. And I was like, oh yeah, that would have been good to know. But you know, that's okay. I got there somehow. And this challenge in particular, I thought was really interesting because I have never, and maybe I just haven't been paying enough attention, but I never have noticed them fact checking anything from Wikipedia for sure. But Wikipedia was sort of a surprise to me, and I was surprised that they had the different year presented in that too. I mean, the question was, you know, when did the opening scenes in Rogue One take place in relation to the film? If you know Jyn Erso's age, which after last year, me not knowing exactly how old Anakin was proved to be fatal. You best believe I've spent a considerable time making sure that I know how old every single character is, including Jyn Erso. And so what, you know, if I know that she was 21 years old when she died, and I know that she was 8 years old in the opening scenes, like there, you know, there's the math or whatever right there. Math. Yeah, that's close enough. Anyway, I got it right during the match, so it doesn't matter if I'm right now.
Exactly.
But that was, it was interesting, and I'm glad that it played out in my favor. And I thought it was interesting that Andrew, maybe some timing stuff, and, you know, exact ages of some people may not be his strongest suit either. So that's kind of fun and good to know.
Noted. Okay, going into the second round then. Obviously, you've gone first. You've elected to stay on Rogue One. You know, first kind of 3 questions, you've gone perfect. You did have to go multiple choice on the Tivik question, which is missed. Dimalanta stole it, of course. And then you've got your last one as well. So just any thoughts on that question in particular, the Daniel Mays one?
Yeah, I mean, that question in particular I thought was really interesting because that question, I mean, I don't know who it was, and I don't remember if it was, may have been Rocha, and I'm thinking about it, was who didn't know Tivik's name in a match once upon a time? Maybe it was IG, maybe it was Star, I'm not exactly sure. But the fact that question has been asked before in that way of what's the name of this character in this movie, and that we've now evolved to the point of we're asking what's the name of that actor that was in this movie for 2.5 minutes. I mean, that was a little bit of an awakening, I think, for me, because, you know, I spent a decent amount of time maybe on some of those smaller characters on IMDb, but clearly not enough because I had never bothered to learn that actor's name. I mean, when they read out the multiple choice for me, I knew Ben Daniels wasn't it because he's Blue Leader, but I didn't know. I think between the other 3, it was just a shot in the dark. I had nothing else to go off of.
Yeah, fair enough. And then obviously Dimalanta goes. He sticks on Phantom Menace. He goes perfect. He does drop down 1 to multiple choice, which is the bit before tuning the Phantom Menace question. So, sorry, no, it was the Grand. Yeah, I didn't even know the band, right? The Gungan band at the end of Phantom Menace. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know it yourself?
No, I didn't. That would have been another one where I was, you know, yeah, it would have been another really shot in the dark for me.
I thought, wow, they have a name. Like, yeah, it's just so many, crazy questions. The writers did such a good job this match. But Saul, do you have any thoughts on the match so far, and any questions for Laura?
That was the moment there when they were asking the band name, and as someone who is a band kid, I'm like, I don't know the name of this. So I'm like, I'm a band kid, I'm a Star Wars fan, I should know something like this. And that was a complete shot out of the dark. And for me, whenever I'm playing along, if I get one question right, I'm happy. So the fact that like you guys do so well in each round, and that you guys were able to get like even like after round 3 going into the speed round, like you guys were tied neck and neck. And that's always a fun match to watch, where you guys are human, you're missing, you're dropping down to multiple choice, but you're still competing so well and matching each other really well.
Spoken like the true #1 Star Wars fan of the Ultimate Schmoedown Aftershow host, Saul.
And then,
do you feel like they should have taken your band geek card that day?
A little bit. Like, Colin, you don't? Because Colin's a band kid too.
I only knew
on,
it because I ripped the song off of LimeWire in like 2003, and it was what the track was on LimeWire.
Wow.
That's all I really knew.
What a throwback, LimeWire.
No,
I mean,
Saul,
I can't
you weren't
really
supposed to
make
know
fun of
that.
you for that. I ripped off the soundtrack to Muppet Treasure Island, so what do I know?
Nice.
yeah.
There's
so
a
let's move on
Tim
to-
Curry does such a good job. I'm done.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm looking at Watto quotes now, and I'm kind of building myself up to do another one, but maybe the end of round 5. And then we get to round 3. Obviously, you both bet 3 on Revenge of the Sith question, how many Scout Troopers there are, and you both get that right, of course. Then we get to Return of the Jedi, yeah. And then we get to round 4, where the kind of momentum shifts a little bit. So obviously we're equal at this point, both obviously passing and missing. Obviously, the round ended 24-27. Like you said, lots of numbers questions. So overall thoughts on that round, please, Laura. And was it just kind of the thinking time you had to do, and really tough questions? And how are you thinking?
I think it was mostly the question difficulty that threw me, because there's only so much you can do to practice the speed round when I don't have somebody like Alex Damon living next door. I mean, I can practice against as many people as I want, as many people reading the questions. Like, there's only so much you can do. And you just don't expect that level of difficulty in a speed round, or at least I didn't. And maybe that's on me. I would have expected 1 numbers question. I think 2 would have been overboard, because that's not something we normally see. But I think there were 3, if I recall, in my speed round. And there were a couple questions. I mean, the Avenger versus Stalker, if that had been any other round, Dimalanta easily could have challenged that and probably have won the challenge, because depending on what sources you're looking at, Stalker, Avenger, one's EU, one's not, but sources say otherwise, just depending on what you're looking at. So that's I saw a lot in the chat of people debating that and whether or not that rule should be changed. And I don't have any opinion on it, because it worked in my favor this time around, at least to some extent, where he didn't get that extra point. But for me, it was really, it really was just like thinking time. It was that my first digital? That was my first digital speed round match. And I mean, this was Dimalanta's 3rd or 4th
in
so
quick succession as well.
Yeah, he's been through it a little bit more. I really did anticipate, if you had asked me like how well the worst that I could have possibly done in a speed round, I would have guessed like maybe miss like 2 or 3. I would never have imagined it would go as poorly as it did for me. So it was frustrating, and it's frustrating even to think about now, because I've told this to a couple people, but like I kind of felt like a digital speed round in this way, in this sort of format, was the best chance I had at doing well at it, because in terms of doing one live, which I have done, that didn't go particularly well for me either. And I'm not personally in favor of having to have a quick reaction time and to have the knowledge. And it just doesn't feel fair to me. I understand that that's what the game is and that's how it's played, and I don't get a say in that matter. I just have to come in and live with it and hope for the best. But I hate it. And it just doesn't feel right or fair to me. Like I said, I thought this was going to be the best way to go. And then this went really poorly too, which was when I start to think about that, the more bogged down I get and the more discouraging it is. The idea of ever getting back to another title match and just knowing like, here I am again, and it's really easy to predict probably how this is going to go. And you can only go through that so many times before it just gets to be way too much, and it just starts to weigh on you too much and becomes too much work for what you get out of it. And the Schmoedown alone without the 2 extra rounds is a lot of work for Star Wars competitors. It's probably a lot of work for all the leagues. I know it's a lot of work for IG too, but to have to be in depth as you have to be, especially now that the league has evolved, or the division has evolved to a place that it is, where we have such a high caliber of competitors this year in particular, is just really, really out of control how good these players are. It's just going to make the questions harder, and everyone's just going to have to work all that much harder to keep up and make sure that they stay in that high caliber of player range that we're in now.
Thanks for being so open and honest about that. But hopefully, you know, if you do ever get to the position in a title match, you know, this is a learning experience as well. You know, you've had obviously the live speed round, you've had the digital speed round. So that's the way I would kind of, if I can pass anything on, to take it as an experience, as a learning thing. So hopefully you will be better at someone else doing that who's less experienced, so or that kind of thing. I know, maybe if I can put a positive spin on that. But John, any thoughts on this match so far, the speed round? Any questions for Laura, please?
I mean, I think my biggest takeaway, especially as we got deeper and deeper into the match, is that if there is one person that I believe really can help you get over that hump into figuring out which of the speed rounds ways to kind of like best way to master it, it is Winston Marshall, because the way that he was just like talking about how impressed he is by you, how just like in awe he is, and obviously why wouldn't he? But it really goes to show like one of the things I think we sometimes forget, especially now that we are kind of moving back to the in-person matches and we don't always see as much of the managers, but is like how personally connected they are to their players, how much they do view a lot of you as like friends, and how much they can kind of like help push competitors in whatever way in order to kind of get them to that next step, which is obviously specifically interesting in your case, Laura, not only having had 2 different managers, first in Shannon and then in Winston, but then also thinking back to your last title match, which was right before we kind of entered this new era of every person being part of a faction. So I was kind of curious as well, just having that different sort of support network. Again, obviously, not the same as living next door to the Damon family, but still like having those folks that are there in your corner to big you up in whatever way they can. Was that something that you felt like helped you to a certain extent with maybe different rounds when it came to this title match?
Well, I mean, shifting teams for sure was helpful, because there was only one Star Wars player on each team last year. And it was really awesome getting to spend so much time studying with Adam and Chance and Kalinowski. But when you get to move to a different team, you're getting a whole new bunch of questions. It's just a whole different group of people whose minds think differently when they're sitting down and watching these movies for their own inner geekdom matches. And then having Ace as a resource too. Having more than one Star Wars player on each team was something I was not at all excited about. Even in my first conversations with Ace, knowing that we were going to be teammates, like I just knew off the bat, I was like, he doesn't trust me. I don't trust him. We are still competitors at the end of the day. I don't know how willing I'm going to be to sit and help this person. Like, this is really frustrating, the idea that like I'm going to have to be out here revealing secrets and then change teams again in a future year and be playing against Ace. And now we both know each other's like ticks. But it ended up being so different than that. It's so much different than it was at the beginning. I was so frustrated with the idea of it at the beginning, and now it's just like, it was one of the most valuable things was having Ace as a teammate and having that resource and having the study sessions with another player who has been in the thick of it and knows exactly how this feels, knows exactly the position that I have been in. It's one of those, it's a real bonding experience and one that I feel really lucky to have gotten. And it's really funny to think about if I had known that I would be saying that like back in January, I would just be laughing because I was just like, I was so mad. I was just, it was just great. I mean, I knew that like Chandru and Paul were going to be amazing resources too. I, had studied with the Inner Geekdom players and been really happy with that. But having Ace was a real game changer.
Absolutely. Real quick, I wanted to shout out, we did get a $5 super chat from Daniel Haygood. Thank you so much, Daniel. Laura is the most engaging, fun to watch player in the Star Wars League.
Aww.
Best character and elite level knowledge. Hope she is around for years to come. Absolutely. It is interesting that you, of course, mention Chandru and Paul as well, because you did get some of the most fun, like, digital, like, scene work of any of the players when it came to that initial S.W.A.G Civil War. Is that what we were I don't even... Time, huh? Where's it all go?
Yeah, I know that it was so long ago.
It was the breaking of my heart.
Yeah. I know. I remember like that first match and seeing some of the comments that were just like, why is this the Winston hate show? And even like within like the S.W.A.G group text, like seeing some of that stuff, I was like, did we go too far? Like it was really funny. It was really funny and it was really fun. But yeah, thank you, Daniel, for those kind words. I really do appreciate that. That's the kind of stuff that makes the hard work worth it. So thank you. But yeah, the cutscene stuff was a lot of fun, and that's stuff that I never got to participate in that kind of stuff before because because I'm out of state. I never thought that I would get to participate it if COVID hadn't come along and forced us all into the digital era like it has. But it was, and I know that Christian doesn't enjoy the digital stuff, I think, as much. I think he's made that pretty clear that he prefers everything be as in person as much as possible. But it's been a really great opportunity for people like me and Alex Damon and Marisol and Molly Damon. I mean, all of us who are out of town to still get to participate in such a huge way and be a part of things and feel like we're still part of the Schmoedown family, even though that we're not in the proximity of everybody else.
Yeah, lucky enough, people keep sending us money and keep praising how awesome you are, Laura. We got one from Justin Toner saying, Laura, I was rooting for you to win. Even though you lost this one, I still believe you will win the Star Wars Championship in the near future. You are that damn good. Keep up the hard work. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate it, bud.
Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that too. That means a lot. It really does.
So you guys see that last week my Nostradamusness is coming into play. So like I don't want to, make this awkward, but I did pick Dimalanta to win the match, but my pick of having Ace and Laura in a Star Wars tournament, Civil War.
It's like, let me just quickly...
Hold on. The Civil War could be in effect. We saw one last year in the IG tournament final between Kalinowski and Chance, and that was an interesting show. But I believe that you and Ace in a tournament final, put me front row. I will be like, you guys will have to put that in a boxing ring. We have to do that between the ropes.
Well,
I will say I was the only one who picked you.
No, not true. I did as well. How dare?
Okay.
What are we doing, guys?
John and I are the ones who love you.
Everyone's saving face. I've started anarchy.
Excuse me. I picked her.
You weren't on screen, Mike.
The ultimate Schmoedown Aftershow, Civil War.
Hey, that's okay. That's why I stopped looking at the polls. That's why I don't look at the Facebook group anymore. These are things that I can't hear. I can't hear if people think I'm the underdog, and I can't hear if they think that I'm the higher ranked. I can't hear these things. It doesn't help me in either situation. I just don't want to hear them at all. Hearing them now is fine. Before the match is when I cannot hear them. I got to block all that kind of stuff out. But no, that's funny. And no, it's totally understandable. The guy beat Alex Damon twice. So it kind of makes sense. Now, granted, I did beat Dimalanta 2 years ago, but still, yeah, I guess I get it. It's all right.
And swag drip drip.
Now the thing with the Ace match is I'm like, there's there's one player from each team, so I don't, we're not going to both be in the tournament, unfortunately. But
yeah, I'm sure there wouldn't be any way people could rework that little number.
It'd be like an entire faction would have to just be like, yeah, no, we're going to sit this one out. Which
COVID, we got a COVID outbreak for the first time in the Schmoedown.
Wow, that would be some real dirty playing if somebody were to like.
But when we go in person, I mean, I'm a big sports fan. Like, we just had some COVID stuff go on with my Ravens, and it's like, oh god, we gotta quarantine everybody again. And we're like, oh, but if we go in person now, it's like, oh no.
I mean, listen, Grace could just come out and be like, Scrimshaw, you gotta retire. Scrimshaw, you gotta go with Mark Andraco to the farm upstate. I mean, if there's anyone who could do it, I believe it's Grace.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's pretty convincing. So pretty persuasive, I think. But yeah, no, that would be it'd be funny if somebody like walked into like a live match with like a vial of like COVID, I don't know, saliva. That's gross. I don't know what it would have to be, but like the sabotage that could potentially come out of that. I don't think it's gonna happen, unfortunately. But yeah, it would be interesting if we just like went rogue and had our own live match where we were just like, I don't know, send in a stream.
Guys, Schmoedown All-Star Weekend. Get it trending. Schmoedown All-Star Weekend, where you can see matches like that you wouldn't expect.
I was going to say, I mean, like at the end of the day, with every team having more than one Star Wars player, like, I mean, other things that I would watch, like I would watch Nicki play against literally anyone, anytime. Her match was so thrilling to watch for me. I feel like she could definitely like, we could have a rogue weekend match there too. Like she's.
I want Damon's versus Dimalanta's.
No.
Yep.
The wives versus the husbands. It would be Molly and Nicki, and they would whoop their ass, and it would be hilarious. And it would be like a Star Wars celebration, and those two would. Andrew and Alex would never live it down. They would walk around the halls of every Star Wars convention and just feel shame.
Somebody would have to like break into like PJ's office and like steal the binder or whatever.
Like that SAT movie Chris Evans was in, Perfect Score. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except
we got this is PJ's office,
chats
so it's just Blu-rays.
Since that, so we have Suge Knight going. Laura, you played awesome last night. You and Dimalanta have made what the Star Wars tournament what it is today. Thank you for being great. And we also got another one from Daniel Haygood. The Bears beat the Buccaneers in the regular season. The Buccaneers win the Super Bowl while the Bears miss the playoffs. It's not who you play, it's how you play. Laura Kelly, Star Wars champ is happening. Well, there you go.
Damn, Daniel. That's,
Brought that around to the Bears. That was really impressive.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you, Suge. Thank you, Daniel. You guys are great. I really appreciate that. It's been really nice to hear the feedback from people and how encouraging and how nice everybody is. I mean, like you would think that like after what some of the women in this league have been through, in terms of like reactions, like we might still be in that phase where not everybody is kind. And maybe some people still deal with that, but it's been a long time since I've encountered any of that from Schmoedown fans. Schmoedown fans are so fucking nice and so like, and just so like, they're just great. I've been really, really lucky, and I hope that everybody else is in the same position that I am, and that they're not encountering hate whether they win or lose, because I feel like for me, win or lose, I still get so much love from this fandom, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, there's definitely like an outpouring of love and support for you. I wish I could get that, but I think it'll come for your water impression. No, I'm not going to do it.
I'm calling you the #1 Star Wars Ultimate Schmoedown.
Who you talking to this time?
Are you going to Watto or what?
I'll think about it. But just getting on to your round 5.
Oh no.
That's better than mine. So, yeah, that's better than mine. But yeah, going on to your round 5, you do hit, of course, your 2, your 3, and your 5. The big 5-pointer. As does Dimalanta. He also hits his 2, 3, and his 5. And I want to know, so did you know his 5-pointer, the 2 full names of the 2 pilots of
I did. I did. I think who had the question about I think it must have been him, or maybe it was I just watched Nicki Dimalanta's match right before Collision, so maybe it wasn't her match. But somebody got the question of name 2 characters that Silas Carson played in the prequels, and the one that nobody named was Antidar Williams. That's played by Silas Carson, who's one of the co-pilots on the Radiant 7. So yeah, what I didn't know, and I've heard other people say her name out loud, was how to pronounce Maui Madakor. The last name I had, the first name I did not, because it's spelled like Maoi, and I just never had any idea. And I just kind of hoped nobody would ever ask me that question, because I don't know. I'm like, unless I can write that one down, which is probably what I would have done anyway, I would have not known how to pronounce that word. But Maui, that's how I've now heard other people say it, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Sure.
Look at all the Boggs love in the chat.
My God,
I didn't mean to do that.
$2 just
but
to
thanks
send
for
Boggs.
thanks for the support.
Colin, drop that Cash App quick.
Oh my god, I'm for real. Like, guys,
Exactly.
my favorite car.
Exactly. Yeah, of course, any more Streamlabs or super chats, please send them in for Laura. Any questions? And of course, patrons can come in as soon as we are done rounding up the match. But so moving forward, Laura, is there anything you are thinking in terms of what's going on for the tournament? I don't know if that's been nailed down yet. But yeah, moving forward, what are the options for you?
You know, we have some time to decide. I'm not sure at this point. As far as I know, the Harper Dimalanta match hasn't been scheduled yet. I'm hoping that somebody will tell me when it is. But until that's, I think, on the books, we don't necessarily have to make a decision right this second. So at this point, I'm at least studied up, so at least I have that going in my favor. I can only kind of get stronger, I think, from here. So we'll see. I'm not sure what Ace's thoughts are on the process yet. So it might, who knows, that battle to death might still come. But yeah, we'll have to talk amongst ourselves over there at S.W.A.G and try and figure out what Winston wants to do.
Of course, people don't want you to go anywhere as well. That's where I was going, because you see all the love that you're getting. There's big support for you. So I hope that, just because you've lost a title match doesn't mean, you can go away or anything. We still want you here. So, yeah, hopefully it's just a stop gap for you to, whoop some people again. But anyway, yeah, before we get in some patrons, any questions? Anyone else have any questions for Laura before we?
Well, wouldn't you have it?
We also got a
actually have
stream
another
lab.
a stream lab. That's right, from Bolts Blazing. Laura's game day outfit was as stunning as her gameplay. As if royalty for sure. All hail Darth Laura, which is a lovely comment there. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Even though you are on now the different factions, the Darth Laura set up it's incredible. It's a 10 out of 10. I think some of the strongest character work in the whole Star Wars division. So I just want to make sure we pepper that in there as well. You're absolutely one of just the strongest presences in the Star Wars division, even if you don't have the specific big golden belt that says that.
Thank you. That really means a lot. The funny thing about the outfit, because I've gotten that compliment a few times, and it's really nice to hear. It really means a lot. But the funniest thing is that we had to, and I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not, but because there was the sponsor for that event, we weren't allowed to have any logos anywhere. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's behind me, I had to move away. I even put all the High Republic books that are behind me away. I kept it as basic and as clean as I could. That's why I moved to my old spot to do my promo. But I had a Star Wars shirt on when I sat down to film that match, and 5 minutes before we started, I had to change because they were just there's a Star Wars logo. And I'm well, it's a Star Wars match. So what am I supposed to wear? I don't understand what the alternative was. And there was talk at one point about having to blur Dimalanta's poster that's behind him, because it's really up there. So it was kind of funny, but I don't remember if he changed or not. I think because he had his jacket on, he was fine, but I had to change. And I threw on that black tank top I had on was it's active wear. It's like a workout tank top. And then the black gloves are part of a costume, a long-term idea that I hope to put into play someday. Hopefully when I can go back and play another in-person match. have a more thorough effort put into my outfit. So we'll see if I can ever make that happen. A lot of it is in the prep work for that, but the gloves are kind of a part of that.
Question as well. Obviously, we are going to cover Nicki's match a bit later. I know you just kind of briefly mentioned it, but what were your overall thoughts on that match between her and Hoey? Because I thought she played wow.
She shocked me. I mean, honestly, I really didn't know what to expect. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody knew what to expect. I feel like, she was drafted so late in the game. And I think if anybody knew that she had that in her, there's no way. I mean, she would have been she may have beaten me in the draft. That it was just such an impressive showing. I'm sure being a sort of trivia coach for these last couple of years has probably been a huge help, but retaining that information is far more than half the battle. You can't just sit there and read questions. You got to know this stuff. In the fact that that life zone question that she got about, from Empire Strikes Back, I was that's not what I wrote down while I was playing along. I never even heard of that. So I'm not sure where that question came from. But yeah, that was a really, really impressive debut. I think she's got a little bit of a ways to go in terms of the confidence game, but who else did in their first year of play was me. So it can get there, with the right coaching, the right manager, the right encouragement, the right, just everything coming together in the universe in just the right way. I think she's going to be a star. She just knocked it out of the park and knocked me out. I sent her a message afterwards and I was just like, girl, holy shit. Well done. Just so impressive. I really enjoyed her debut.
Big time.
I knew she was going to be great because I watched their YouTube channel and she plays along. And so before she was ever in the league, she was playing along the matches. And I was just like, people aren't paying attention to Nicki Dimalanta. They don't know what's coming. So it was so great to watch in this her debut.
Awesome. That's amazing.
So yeah, before we get, obviously Mike wants to come in and ask you a question, but overall thoughts on the Bad Batch so far? 3 episodes left. Where's the story? The story, obviously, it's with a whole Crosshair situation.
I love you, Boggs.
Ended a bit on a cliffhanger. So yeah, overall thoughts on the Bad Batch, please, if you don't mind.
I'm really excited about it. I've had a lot of fun talking about that show this season. I've been doing Geek Buddies with John here on the channel, and we just talked about episode 14 today, and we dive into it more there, but I'll just say this most recent episode completely changed my prediction of how the season was going to end. I had a very clear idea of what exactly at least one of the course of events that was going to take place in one of the 2 last episodes of this season. And I am now on a totally different point with that, because I think that I was totally wrong, and whatever I was thinking might be in a future season. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the effort that they made to tie the story into everything else that we've already seen in the big picture. That's the kind of stuff that canon junkies like me really, really live for. So overall, I love the characters. I love Omega. I love Gonki, and I love Clink, and I want Clink to come back. And I even love Sid. At first, I was a little bit weirded out. I'm like, oh no, Rhea Perlman. This is interesting in Star Wars, but she kicks ass and she's a badass lady. So it's been a really, really fun show this first season. And I just hope that we find out soon and confirm soon that it's been renewed for at least 1 or 2 more seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Hunter's going to die as well. That's just my hot take.
Whoa!
Because he's the mentor, right? He's the mentor to Omega. Mentors normally get... So I think something's going to happen. Yeah,
Mike, kick Boggs out. Kick Boggs out.
So we've got some Discord questions.
Yes, we do. So first from Drunken Prayer goes, if you could have any Star Wars creature as a pet, what creature would you pick?
That's fair. Oh, it moves.
It moves and it makes noise, and it's quite obnoxious. He was a gift, and my sister and my roommate not helpful. They were not excited about my gift. I would, without question, get a porg.
It's definitely between a porg or a loath cat.
I was gonna say loath cat is like my answer, like every day of the week.
Ruby's pretty cute too from the Bad Batch. She's like a cat, but she's a lizard, but she's also a little dog-like. I don't know what she is, but I'm all about porgs. I'm not necessarily a cat person, but I see where you're coming from.
I'm not a cat person, but I like loath cats. They're cute.
They are.
They're okay. And then we have from Jeremy Miller goes, what is your favorite franchise besides Star Wars?
Ooh, that's a good question. Right before, actually it was maybe right around the time that I played that match in February, I did a full MCU rewatch. And I think since Loki came out, that's probably my current favorite besides Star Wars. If you had asked me once upon a time, it would have been Harry Potter, and I'm still a huge Harry Potter fan. I just don't necessarily have that love for it that I used to. There's a lot of things that I think have sort of cooled me on it, but MCU and especially Loki, I fell head over heels for that show. So I would probably say MCU at this point, even though I'm definitely not an expert. Inner geekdom is not for me. It probably never will be, but I do enjoy the stories and how much effort they put into tying it all together and making sure everything connects in a really cohesive way.
Drunken Prayer that asked the pet question, his answer is Crate Dragon, no more unsolicited visitors. That's great. I love that.
His answer is strategic, and that's smart.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of Harry Potter, we have a Harry Potter question from Malcolm. Going, if the Harry Potter world were real, and you received a special invitation to cross the sea and enroll at Hogwarts, would you accept, or would you enroll into the American school Ilvermorny to stay closer to your family?
There was a time in my life where I was a pretty big Anglophile, and I've now been to London a few times. It's not all I thought it was going to be. It's not my favorite place to travel, but it is really fun. And I do enjoy visiting. There was a time in my life where I thought, like, God, I want to live in London, and I want to be in Europe, and I just don't want to be in the United States anymore. And I could never live in London. Number one, it's just too expensive. But I would probably still, I'd make that trip overseas. I would go be a 33-year-old student at Hogwarts. I don't know how many. I'm not above that.
Where did the transfer students meet? Like, sorry, I'm a huge Potterhead. Like, where would the transfer students meet? Would they meet in New York and hop on one of the boats that came in from the Durmstrang boat?
They'd have to find a way to London and get on the train.
Yeah, but they all arrive together, and then all the Brits are looking over at them like, oh, it's those Yankees coming over here to steal our good old magic education.
I studied abroad in college, and we all met up beforehand, or a big group of us that flew over early met up ahead of time, and we all traveled to the school, and it was in very northern rural Italy, and it was quite a trek to get there. So I think having a group in that situation is really your best bet for success. So I would say, yeah, I will go wherever they're meeting, whether that's kicking off the trip at DC, New York, whatever.
I will say,
that's a long ride. That's a long ride.
Yeah.
I have a buddy that worked on a D&D style show called Misfits and Magic that you can find on YouTube. It's about specifically for American students that get invitations to be exchange students at a Hogwarts school. It's very fun. If you look it up, first episode, Misfits and Magic.
There you go.
Amazing.
I was going to say Hogwarts is in Scotland, so you don't have to deal with London. You're up there in Scotland, so you could probably go hang out with Drunken Prayer.
No, that's true, but I'm like, wouldn't you want to take the Hogwarts Express? Wouldn't you want that to be part of the experience? No, not necessarily. I would. I don't know. If anything, just to get the treats from the lady that goes by with the cart.
Anything from the trolley, dears.
I think Boggs would do the accent the best. You can say it.
Sure. Now's the time. Do the water voice. Do it right now.
I was going to say, what if you did water right now?
I lost the quotes. I need to scroll back.
Any, anything
Oh,
from
you
the
stole it. I was
Johnny.
gonna do it. I was gonna do it. There you go. There you go. It's worth every super chat and stream.
We
I'm
made
just
it
gonna
work.
walk around and every time somebody asks Boggs to do an impression, I'll just do it for him.
Yeah, sure.
Do it.
Our last question here we have from Justin going, if you could have your own real lightsaber, what color would it be?
You know, I've really loved Ahsoka's white sabers for a long time. So I think I would go 2 sabers over 1, and I would probably get something similar to hers with the white ones. Because I love my red saber, don't get me wrong, I do. And I have a blue one, but I hate it because it's too big. But my red one will always have a soft spot in my heart. But I think eventually someday I'd like to get some custom white ones made.
Nice. I'm definitely going for like the purple. I think I would go the purple.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I've got red behind me. It was purple before, now it's red.
Well, yeah, that's all the questions from the Discord. Is Mike gonna come in to ask a question?
I believe so.
That's it.
No, he's not
Oh,
coming
wow.
in. No, I'm kidding. I was going to ask about the Bad Batch, Boggs.
Sorry.
So,
I had to know.
I guess instead I'll ask, since you're competing in a Star Wars league, how do you approach watching the movies for fun versus watching them for the sake of like trying to remember stuff? Are you able to kind of separate that, or has it kind of taken some of the fun out of watching them for you?
Oh, the answer is going to bum you out, but I don't really watch them for fun much anymore.
Oh, no.
And you know what is funny is regardless of what they say, I bet I'm not the only player that would answer it that way. I've tried to before. I've tried to sit and just watch them for fun, but inevitably there'll be like one thing that I catch and I'm like, oh, do I have that in my notes anywhere? And then I'm getting my computer out and then I'm looking stuff up and then it becomes an entire thing where I'm just taking notes for the rest of the movie. So it's hard for me to do that. I think if you took me out of my apartment, I could do it. I could sit and watch a Star Wars movie for fun. If like one of my friends was like, hey, I've never seen these and I want to sit and watch them. Like, do you want to, like, that would be the only situation I think where I could do it. But whilst I'm in my home and my computer's nearby, and even, I mean, honestly, like all my stuff is on my phone too. So it's like, even if I didn't have my computer nearby, I'd still probably be whipping it out and taking notes. So it's hard to sit and watch them for fun, which is why I'm glad that I enjoy reading and listening to the audiobooks, and why I enjoy the ancillary material like Clone Wars and Rebels and Bad Batch, because in Mandalorian too, if I didn't enjoy those things, I don't know how I would still be playing this game, and I don't know how I would still be a fan. I would just be so sick of all of it. But I love the world and I love the universe and how it's just continuously getting built out, and all the new material that we're getting, including the High Republic, or the stories are just incredible. So I'm glad that I have those things going for me, but that's also part of the reason I don't ever want them to include any of the TV shows or books or anything else in the movie trivia division, the Star Wars division of the Schmoedown. I just keep it purely the way that it is so I can enjoy the other things outside of it.
Do you have a favorite piece of ancillary stuff, whether it's a favorite book or one of the shows or something like that?
I'm a huge Star Wars Rebels fan. I love Kanan Jarrus and Harrison Dula are like two of my favorite characters. I also love Ahsoka Tano. But I like the Rebels version of her the most. And I love the book Dark Disciple. If people are going to pick up any one book to read, I usually recommend Lost Stars, because that's just an incredible book. And it's definitely in like my top 3. But in terms of the story that I got like the most enjoyment out of it recently, it was Dark Disciple for me.
That's cool. My sister's a huge Ahsoka fan, so I finally started watching Rebels for the first time on Disney Plus. So I'm enjoying it so far.
Nice. That's great to hear.
Yeah, it's been great. Well, thank you very much, Laura. I'll let you guys. Boggs, you're fired. Everybody else, great job.
Oh, Boggs is fired. Wow. I thought it was.
I thought it'd be you at
Colin
least, John.
for saying that he picked Ant.
okay.
Fair enough. That's fair. I'm already fired for sure. That's definitely just.
You're all
haven't sent me the
fired. We're
paperwork
starting
yet,
over.
so-
New
That's fair.
show. Forget.
Me,
That's
me
fair.
too.
Yeah. Well. Oh, he didn't come back to. Wow, that's.
Saul, you can stay. You're the new host.
There we go. There we go. Hey, see, happy
You and Laura
ending.
could do it. Yeah.
That's right.
That was her goal
Well,
all along.
Well deserved.
My evil plan is
Hats
coming
off
to.
So I couldn't
That's right,
ever
all the way.
believe you were evil, even for a minute. Well, unfortunately, as Boggs, Colin, and I pack our bags, Laura, unfortunately, we also need a bit of due to you to let you get back to your Sunday. We can't thank you enough for being willing to hop on the show again, and thank you again for such an incredible match that we got to talk about. Before we say goodbye, are there any final words that you have for the Schmoedown world at large?
I don't know if I have too much to say besides just thank you. Thank you for making me feel so welcome in this space and for giving me a sort of home in this group. It's been really, really fun, and I hope to continue it. I hope to continue to find things to make me love it besides winning, because we can't always win. So I really do appreciate it, and all the kind words that I've gotten and all the positive feedback I've gotten over the last 3 years.
Hell yeah, we are so thankful to have you in this game, and we're so excited for whatever the game brings you next, whether it be the Star Wars tournament, some other Grace-related shenanigans, who knows. We'll be excitedly watching from the stands. Laura, thank you so much, and have a lovely rest of your Sunday.
Thank you. You guys too. It was great to be here.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Laura.
much. Bye. Oh, gosh. Well, that was incredible. And gang, that was match 1 of 7. Let that sink in for a second. We've been on for an hour, and we have even better
Exactly.
things. Colin's
Oh my
fully
God.
Remember
how
when
long
we
we
did
go
that
for?
rapid fire thing? I think we should do that again for the last few, where like each of us
Oh.
do our best to like slam it down in a minute. We take John's amazing notes and just go,
That's
falls to the
right.
wall.
I don't even have to do it anymore. Oh, I have less and less work I gotta do on the show. Ha ha. That was my evil plan. Is I give you all my notes. I'm the master watching from the sideline. I'm the character Boggs thinks is gonna die in the show. But enough about me.
You are he who moderates.
That's ooh, I like that. That's very epic. But someone that's even more epic. Oh boy, I haven't used that word since 2012, but boy oh boy, we have an incredible competitor joining us for yet another titles match. He is, I'll just go ahead and say it, one of our favorite people in the Schmoedown. He's graced us time and time again on this show, and we're always exceedingly grateful to have him on. Everyone, please give it up for the Cobra, Chance Ellison. How are you, man?
Hey, you see me? Hello? There we go.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
Good, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I know it's a Sunday, a little bit of a different setup for us this time around, but we're so glad to have you on, especially since you are coming off of something that we haven't had in a minute, which is an in-person match. So, I mean, just kind of like, I wanted to real quick first ask about that. Obviously, you are one of the competitors that were able to have that in-person experience from way back when, but how did it feel just as a competitor to get back to that a little bit?
You know, honestly, it just felt like we never left. Like coming in, just seeing everybody, just talking, just like, hey, what's up? And it felt like we'd just been doing this for a year, we never stopped. Like it just is such an easy transition back to it, and it was great seeing everybody again. It was I always loved recording in the studio. It was always fun to just go in and see everybody. Going out afterwards is always like another big highlight for all of us. So yeah, it was a fun time.
Who would you have to say you were the most excited to see in person as far as the folks that were there? Because obviously I'm sure you and Mike and Shannon have been able to get together at least once or twice. Was there anyone that you were like, yes, I got to see them again?
I'd seen Mike and Shannon the night before. So yeah, I guess they don't count. So they don't count. I was really excited to see Christian and Mark again. It's always nice to see Guy. Sully, first person I'd seen him on Zoom calls for about the whole year, so it was nice to see him again. But yeah, no, it was great. It was great to see everybody.
Hell yeah! And how much Captain Morgan did they let you take home with you? Was that
That was gonna be my question. That was
Oh,
literally
no,
gonna be
God,
my
I'm so
question.
sorry.
Like there was
it's-
so much there.
it's-
There's no way.
It's funny, no. So not only did I not take any home with me, I wasn't allowed to drink on set because
Oh.
because like there's a whole thing where like you can't drink. If you were under 25, you cannot be seen with a drink So
Oh,
I was not allowed to get anything from the bar the entire day.
Hollywood facts. How about
I was
that?
just watching Mark's drink progressively like melt the entire time. The like
Yeah.
prepared one that he had on set, but because he had one in a tumbler that he was slurping down, and then there was the one on set that was just slow. You know how a soda, if you just let the
Right.
ice sit, it'll all rise to the top. And by y'all's match, it was very much there. I was like, oh man, Mark, a waste.
Yeah.
Winners should have
But,
been dozed in Captain Morgan. That would have been nice. Like a F1 race with champagne, but instead
Yeah,
it's...
I like the NBA finals, like just champagne with Captain Morgan.
You guys all got the goggles, like sponsored by Oakley as well.
Yeah. I wish.
Just a
I
big
wish.
Gatorade cooler, but full of rum.
Oh god.
I hope no one would have had any like cuts or bruises.
No open wounds.
Yeah.
Happened to me at a
Oh,
concert.
shoot, I got a paper
Somebody
cut. That's
poured
a little bit of
tequila
a
and I had
bummer,
a
but I
cut in
guess
my
not.
lip. I didn't know when life was over. So, Schmoedown, right? That match was
Yeah.
wild.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I'll bounce it on over to you first. But number one story we got to talk about: Corruption versus Shazam. How do we keep getting here? Did we just find the two perfect teams? Did we just already do our job, find the two best ones, and just keep setting them up in different ways?
I mean, yeah, it's
Like
basically. I'm sorry. It's like it's basically
Okay.
Founding Fathers Corruption a second time. Like this, like we retired that one. Now this is the new rivalry. Now we're on the losing side of it. We're the Founding Fathers in this game, which sucks. But they didn't stop. Neither are we.
I was gonna say it was like that time when the Warriors versus Cleveland, and we thought that was just gonna be the finals forever.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, but you were the LeBron in that first series when they lost, but everyone was clamoring for LeBron to get all the MVP votes because he averaged almost a triple-double, like a 34-plus point triple-double, and you basically did that, bro. You were awesome. Like, let's just start off with how freaking awesome you were, round to round to round to round, consistently the whole time. That speed round, dude, that's up there with, like, hey, shut the fuck up. I got this. Like it just to everybody in the room, I'm the best right now. Shut up. And dude, you like, boy, oh man, that would, if whoever you got to play next in singles, bro, it'd be quaking in their boots, shaking, quaking, something.
Either or.
One of those words. But going in, round one, you and Shazam go perfect. We have Mike missing 2 questions. What was it like just getting that perfect round in front of a live crowd again?
It was nice. I mean, I'd done that a couple times, so I mean, it's like it's nice to get back to it. To be able to like, oh yeah, this feels really nice. But you know what? I've been, not to sound like arrogant or anything, but perfect round just like so like business as usual for me. So like when they happen, I just like I don't know. It's like yeah, it's just a thing I can do. Whatever.
When you're good, you're good. You got to pat yourself on the back, right? And but Boggs, that thought of round one, because you have 3 perfect rounds. Mike only missing it by 2. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Mr. Laura Dern question and the Johnny Depp question, but yeah, just chance, like you're saying, perfect round as usual. How many times have they done it again? They say it every time. He gets, as per usual, Chance gets the perfect round and sets him up. Because against Shazam, you pretty much have to go perfect at this point. So yeah, that was great. And I also thought I liked you guys had the better walk-in. I just thought just subtly that was a cool thing as well. So outfit was cool as well. Black gloves, black glasses, shades, hat. I thought he's on point. I knew from that walk-in, I thought his Chance is gonna have a good first round. And
watching that walking back, I had been watching the match again. I'm like, damn,
the smoke,
I really should have worn the black jeans. Probably gonna do that next time.
Yeah. I thought that. Yeah, afterwards, I thought, oh, damn, he's on stage. Like, yeah, but
Wow.
because the walkout was just here, so that was fine. But yeah, on
The
stage,
walkout was there, but like you can see now you can see my legs like that. I'm standing. I'm like, okay, yeah, gotta be uniform again. So
yes.
I also think it was with your entrance specifically that we saw Ben Goddard.
Yeah,
by
right at the
door
front.
and doing this
yeah,
little, like,
in the door.
Hey,
He got
that
into it by
camera
the
was
end. He was
giving
doing
the
now.
NBA Finals 8K camera a run for its money. Y'all were looking good, like crystal clear. That was
Yeah, and
nice.
I saw the whole like setup for the entrances, and like when they ran it by us, and then like I saw Amaru and Saul got to do their thing. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be pretty sweet.
But it's one of those things you got to remember about the pants again, because you've been digital. It's all from what's up here, but now you got to remember pants again.
Now I got to coordinate. No more wearing my lime green pants. My lime green pants.
No, you're not home anymore. So yeah,
Nope.
That's what Saul said. He said he was sad he had to wear pants for this event, but
That's what's gonna make or break the folks that have only played digital once they get into studio. It's like, do they remember what pants are? B, how do they work?
Now you have to coordinate your outfits now.
Right. But going into this round 2, you guys spinning IG mixed bag. Was it just one of those like, yeah, we're definitely taking this because both you and Mike are in IG, or was there a thought process of possibly spinning again to get something else?
We did have a slice like that on the wheel, but we didn't put it on. It just happened to be there. But with a team like Shazam, like if you're trying to play to, you're trying to pick strength based on what they're bad at, you're gonna have a tougher time. So you're better off just playing to your own strengths. And even then, like that's a category that Mike and I know that they would be scared to take against us. Because just we already got the champion and another guy who plays in Geekdom, so we thought we needed to maximize our point output. We thought that was a good pick.
You guys did end up missing to the Devourer of Worlds question and the Jekyll Edwards multiple choice, and Bibbs picked that up super quick. Was that surprising that Bibbs was there picking up these IG steals?
A little bit. I feel like those are a little more his wheelhouse as far as IG movies go, and when it came to that one, I said Destroyer, Mike said Devourer, and we were talking about it, and he said go Devourer. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll trust your word. And then League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, we had no idea. I didn't think it was Hyde, but because it just seemed too obvious. But at the same time, we had nothing else, so we thought, let's just go for it. What's the worst that IG?
The IG mixed bag category also, I mean, I hate to say, it was like a learning experience for the teams in singles league as well. We don't see that category come up very often. So, I mean, I don't think we should expect, like, who played Agent Coulson in the Avengers. I think that's really going to be that IG mixed bag. I think it is the mixed. It seems it's more along the IG mixed bag category where it's all those other random ancillary movies like The Shadow and stuff like that. So I mean, if those are in for singles, like, and teams, I mean, that is scary. But if you guys are able to,
which is what we realized when we're like going to our slice, we're just like, could we do, like, we thought about, could we conceivably do IG mixed bag? And like, I talked to Peter and like, yeah, there's no rule against it, so yes, you could. So I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Why not?
And we all learned the hard way.
We did learn the hard way, but it caught us once, not gonna catch us again.
Right. Yeah.
And Shazam spinning 2,000, getting a possible 11 out of 12 points. I'm gonna throw it to you, John. Your thoughts on their round 2, and then also if you want to put your thoughts on Corruption's round 2 as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's not a whole lot to say with round 2. Obviously, sometimes you just get those questions that just happen to hit the blind spots. And I think it was also interesting to note that, like, as much as, again, it's sort of like what we were just talking about with Laura Kelly. As nice as it is to see the perfect rounds, it's also fun when it's not quite as perfect, because then you start to see, like, oh, this is really still anybody's game. It's not always, oh, you missed one question, therefore the match is done. No, like, Shazam got 11 out of 12 points, but that means there's 1 point they left on the board. And that's how we got as many rounds of sudden death that we got, which obviously we'll talk about later. But it's like, sometimes it's just, there's always going to be that one thing that you second guess yourself on. Like, even teams as great as Corruption and Shazam, because you're both great, of course, but there's always going to be just that one thing that happens to evade you. At the end of the day, I'm always just more impressed than anything by the fact that other people were able to get all the way through I, Frankenstein, because that's one of the movies I dipped out. I hardcore dipped out, gang. I saw Bill Nighy in a lab going like, oh, I found a link to the evil realm and I'm going to fight gargoyles? I don't even remember that much. That's as far as I got, gang.
More than me.
I thought the highlight for me of at least Shazam's round 2, really oh man, use a Stephen A. Smith term, the maturation process that we've seen from Brendan Meyer just being like, in the moment, Bibbs now being able to just be like, yeah, dude, go for it. Like, that trust is obvious. And the what lies beneath question, Bibbs like, I don't know what the hell that is. I don't have that. Sure, dude, if you know it, go. Pulls it out of nowhere. And that was, I thought that was really impressive and kind of just set the tone for, you know, their trust in each other. And unfortunately, I mean, round 4 is the really where this all kind of shapes. But first, round 3. Right? Is that
I'm sorry.
is that what comes after 2? Is that what comes after 2? Okay.
Yes, I was on mute there.
Sorry, South Carolina education. We're 48 out of 50. I don't give it much.
I think you mean North Carolina.
Okay, fair. That's fair. That's fair. I'll take it.
It's the only one I've got, I promise.
I was going to say, out of round 2, you have a deficit 32-23. So thought process going into round 3, you're down so much. You have a mountain to climb, but there is 5 rounds in the match, so it's not over yet. What are your thoughts?
My thought process, shit. But it's funny. I was talking to Frank before this, is because I wanted to know, because I'm pretty sure I'm the player with the longest streak of never being knocked out. I've never been knocked out in any division. I've gotten close. It's never happened. But then I saw like we're down 9. Shit. Just kept my mouth shut. Shouldn't have said anything. God damn it. All right, fine. But you know, it's 5 rounds. You know, it's not over. It's time to turn on the jets. Get in, go. Stay in it. I mean, my focus is never not on singles. That's the thing. Like I'm always in it. I'm always playing singles. I got a singles match coming up very soon. I don't know when the date for my match versus Snyder is, but hey, I'm putting everything I got into that match right now. But as far as focusing on just singles, probably not, just because I think a big draw for me is my versatility, is the fact that I can just pop in and just be a competitor anywhere I'm needed to be. So
especially in tournaments, right?
Yeah, it'd be tempting, but no, I don't think I'd ever focus on just purely singles. But yeah, going in like round 4, round 3, we knew we were gonna bet 3 no matter what. Didn't matter what the category is, we need to make up ground. When you're down to that much, you have to start playing aggressive.
Yeah. And that was my thought process too. I was like, they have to bet 3. If they bet anything but 3, this is you got to climb that mountain. You got to put balls to the wall, go as much as you can to try to make up that ground. So combining round 3 and round 4, you guys bet 3, they bet 2. The score at the end of round 3, 34-26, and then you're round 4, speed round champ there. So I'm gonna throw to Boggs first. Your thoughts on both round 3, round 4? That speed round though.
Round 4 of that match was the best part of the whole of Collision. Right, seeing that first point go, and then doing the one. You know, the I think it was the release date one, right? The 3 movies ending with Beverly Hills Cop 2, and you took your time. Everyone was leaving it. Bang, 1987. Oh, and the crowd goes wild. Yeah, that was like a throwback moment. It was a great pull. Yeah, so like you brought him back in it. You know, obviously. You brought the deficit close, and yeah, you had the crowd on your side. You had the momentum. So yeah, definitely that was the most edge of the seat kind of, probably, yeah, like I said, the most thrilling part of Collision. So yeah, you absolutely killed it. It was definitely I loved it.
That was what had to happen. That was, if you're sitting there rooting for corruption, you have that has to be the outcome and minimum. Because even 3-2 is hard to come back from. If they got 2, y'all got 3. 4-1, put that into that 5-point range of like, oh, well, you're gonna hit your 5. Let's see what you got.
Because going in, the kind of conversation is like, oh, Mike's really good at the speed run, right? He's historically shown that he's the man to watch. You know, he's gonna kind of climb back the points, and then just chances there with the shades on, with the gloves, just the whole thing, just subtly just hitting the butter. You can't even see. And everyone's looking at him like, and he gets the pull. Yeah, it was great entertainment, man. You smashed it. It was, like I said, best part of Collision.
For Chance, round 4, you do have Bibbs getting that first question. Was it after he got that first question? Was it like, I'm getting the rest of these no matter what, because you did bring it to 35-30?
I knew that speedrun was my chance to be like to be an aggressor, just because I know I I know what I can do. People know me. Like I get a lot of comments saying I talk really fast. That's my mind moves really quickly. So that's which helps me, but also sucks. I have to really think about it if I need to like slow down my speech pattern. But yeah, when it came to that, I'm just like, okay, fine, time for me to take over. American Pie wasn't gonna get it, not based on those characters, but I can get the rest because like I know that Brendan may be fast, but I know I'm faster, and I know I'm faster than when I presented in that match because my reaction time on those last two was a little too slow for my taste.
Yeah, did you nearly not press it for that 1987 one?
I nearly didn't. I was like 90 on 1987, only because I knew when Josh the Revenge came out. But I'm just like, you know what, we need the. I'm like 99. I'm like 90% sure this is it, and we need the points. So let's go for it.
It was one of those moments, like, and I think we've seen this in a Dan Murrell match where, like, they asked a release date question and both of them are like, I'm not hitting this button. We don't know it. I thought that was about to, and then out of nowhere, Chance was like, I'm going for it. And so that was fun to watch.
I mean, you need to make up ground however you can. So
exactly.
I was willing to take that shot.
Well, going into your guys' round 5, you get your 2, your 3,
Thank you.
and then your 5. Shazam get their 2, their 3. Missed their 5. The game is now tied. When you heard you're going to sudden death after being down 9 earlier in this match, thought process there.
I thought, I'm like, you know what? Like this is if we land, this will be the greatest comeback in Schmoedown history. Just from being down 9. If you like showed that match to people, so 9-point deficit, and you said this match is going to sudden death. Everyone told me, be like, okay, great, but how? How does that work? So, I knew Brendan and Biz mentally like they had to feel it. I know they had to feel it, and I know because Brendan told me after, just like, yeah, as soon as that happened, I was like, crap, we lost. We blew a 9-point lead.
Yeah, that would have been the biggest comeback because I think before that it was 7 points with Dan and Ben Bateman, so that would have been crazy. I'm going to throw it to you, Colin. That process of going into sudden death.
Okay, I would also just like to point out, me mentioning South Carolina earlier was me actually mentioning that I am from the state of South Carolina, and that is my education. Not totally forgetting that you both put South Carolina instead of North Carolina. The funniest one was Georgia, because I was like, whoa, okay. But then you guys say in South Carolina, there aren't even any mountains in South Carolina, just like for future reference.
Look, I know there are no mountains in Georgia. I know, like,
no, there's mountains in Georgia. You got mountains in Georgia.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, Snow Mountain. Yeah, up above Atlanta. It is really high up there in Atlanta. Yeah, the elevation's pretty high.
Yeah, I try to think, like, where are there mountains in the South?
Yeah, Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, kind of all running right there. But sudden death is absolutely crazy. You all get the Grease question, the Angela Bassett Tina Turner question. Oh man, Mummy Returns 2001. You either know that one or you don't. You're processing 3 movies.
I thought that's where we had them.
You're processing 3, right? There's a guarantee. You're not gonna. Was it 98 for the first Mummy? 99. So yeah, you're running into that, and the Scorpion King date popping in there too. That's a lot of stuff to come off at the top. And then, I mean, the Cars 3 cast question might have been the most entertaining answer because I thought Mike didn't have it based off of how Mike was acting and his body language. But boy, he turned that around real quick. And that was, this was just entertaining from top to bottom. The Analyze This psychiatrist question. That was another one as well. And then only Bibbs getting the air up there question. I don't even know what that is. Has anybody seen that?
Not yet. I will say.
No,
but not yet.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure because it's usually like that's a good, and I love watching the evolution of sudden death in this league because you get those. All right, round 1, and round 2, and after we get past 5 questions, PJ's like, all right, I'm trying to get you the hell out of here. It really starts to nail down, we
need to wrap this up.
Yeah, it's time to wrap this up, guys. We're gonna drop the air up there question. That's like a 2:00 movie on UPN. Jeez.
But throwing to that North Carolina, South Carolina thing, it's one direction away. You guys could have won that match. So where's Mike at afterwards when he was just like, oh man, we were so close?
It's pretty hard. Not to lie, he knows there's plays where we could have cleaned up our game. We could have won. If the funny thing is, we went over with Benny in June the night before, and Aiden Quinn plays Benny in that movie. That's what he was thinking. That's what he was thinking. He got confused. So yeah, if he does that, if we go multiple choice on the Galactus question, if one of us changes from north to south, we won. But that's the other thing you think about when you're that close. But still, it's nice being that close. I don't think any teams put up that much of a fight against Shazam than we have, except those who have beaten them. But I think that if there's anything we've done in that match, we proved that we can take that team out. There's no question about it.
I think you guys are, when you mention the Founding Fathers battles that you went through before, there was something different about your, and I mean you specifically, your strengths compared to theirs in terms of their similarities and their with the way they fill each other's gaps. The way you and Mike work and the way Brendan and Bibbs work are so similar but so different. But it's perfect. It's all I don't know if you could if the two teams had each other for the whole match, I think y'all could find a way to work out almost every damn question. Your knowledges are just so vast that you could figure it out. That's what makes this so good. This is truly up there in the all-time rivalries. It is ascended. And this one, we just got to talk about the 101 thing too. This is getting really weird. It's really weird. Yeah. And when Bibbs pulled that and it was 101, I was like, oh, this is Providence at some point. Maybe you guys got to score 102. Something. It's got to be broken.
You push it past the ones. All you have to do.
And what I was gonna say there is that if anyone in the team's division, if they're not looking at Corruption, if they're not looking at Shazam and looking at this match and thinking what they need to study, how they need to focus, because you two are the top of these of this team division, and I think right now, if it's anyone else, they're not beating you guys. And so I really hope I was rooting for you guys this time. I'm really hoping that next time you can climb that mountain again and get back to Shazam or whoever has the belts and get that belt again, because man, what a match. And if anyone's not Corruption fans after this, what are you doing?
It's definitely interesting now, because we're in a place we haven't been in a few seasons, because now we have to actually make a big climb for the belts. This year we were one away. Last year we were one away from back to the belt shot. So, now we actually had to go and face some new teams, face down some new blood, which Mike and I are both excited about. We're both excited to be back in the team scape.
Yeah, definitely, and it'll definitely be fun to watch you guys run through a tournament. I'm excited for it. But boys, any more questions for Chance?
Yeah, I got one about the 5-pointer.
All I have to say is,
no worries, John. That was a good 5-second delay.
I was gonna make a joke about how my StreamYard was acting up, and then look at that, it acted right on up again. How about that, folks? Sure. Huh? Boggs, you take it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, about the 5-pointer. It sounds weird, but it was kind of cool to see you guys whispering again. We've not seen that in such a long time. Did you how certain were you? Did you obviously you talked it through the 3 repeats. But yeah, how much was that was showmanship, or did you just genuinely had to talk out?
Oh no, I knew it.
Yeah, I could tell.
No.
Yeah, no, but we're coming back to see you for the first time. We're gonna give him a show.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I was 95% on that one, just because that's one of the soft films that has a plot. So I mean, right. if you're not initiated the franchise, they can blend together, and sometimes they do. But when they have a plot that distinct, and I've seen all the Saws, it's pretty easy to differentiate once all you have to do is get a general description. You start thinking of traps. But Mike even brought it up when we were in the huddle, just oh yeah, the needle pit, that's 2. So yeah, we had it pretty easy. Look, come on. Of course we're gonna burn. Of course we're gonna burn all our repeats.
You got it.
I'm a sucker.
We got some Patreon questions for you, so I'm going to start here from Drunken Prayer. Do your shades work like Roddy Piper's and they live, or are they just for style?
I don't want to say. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I'm not going to say. I'm not going to be on record saying it.
He can neither confirm nor deny. And then we have from Jeremy Miller goes, what is your favorite movie of 2021 so far?
So far, Judas and the Black Messiah. I think that film is. I mean, it's a 2021. It's a 2020 movie disguising as a 2021 film, but it did come out this year, and that film is. I think it's excellent. So I think that one. I also really love Mitchell's vs. the Machines. I think on Netflix, that one's fucking amazing.
That's my number one so far.
Judas
I'm excited for Green Knight.
Oh, me too. I think
I've seen Green Knight. Green Knight's great
on HBO Max.
Hell yeah!
Ooh, awesome. And then we have from Gift Taylor. He goes, "Is there one actor you wish would compete in the Schmoedown?"
One actor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. Any actor. I would love to see Tommy Wiseau compete in the Schmoedown. I think that'd be hilarious.
Him versus the friend.
Christian, I don't know if you know that, but I do the movie and you asked the question.
How did you go to a Christian joke, Colin, and not say, "Oh, hi, Mark"?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, I think Wiseau would be fun, but as far as like I think someone more classic would be fun. I think that if Robert De Niro wasn't so old, I think it'd be fun because he's been around for so long. Or
Once Dirty Grandpa 4 comes out, we can get him on the press tour, I'm sure.
I would love to see grumpy son of a bitch Harrison Ford compete in this.
Oh, I wasn't in it. Fuck it.
What the fuck is this question?
Yeah. Or someone like a genuine movie fan, like I know someone like a Joseph Gordon-Levitt who is just like a genuine just fan of movies, or like Patton Oswalt's another big avid movie fan. I think that'd be great. But yeah, there are tons of actors. I think.
Jason Mantzoukas, I think.
Mantzoukas would be great,
dude. All the how did this get made?
Yeah, him,
crew.
Paul Scheer, Kumail. I know Kumail's a bit.
Kumail would be dangerous.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to watch.
Schmoedown All-Star Weekend, folks. I'm gonna die on that island.
Colin's trying to make it happen. I think you need to do a hashtag or something, Colin.
I'll do it. I'll get it going.
Hey,
we got a sponsor, Captain Morgan.
Our last question here from Justin T. asking, who are your favorite directors?
My favorites, Spielberg, Hitchcock, Scorsese. I like Scorsese a lot. Tarantino. I'm a massive Tarantino fan. I'm a really big fan of Steve McQueen. For like contemporary director, Steve McQueen is a favorite of mine. I love Billy Wilder. And I'll throw off some of the Spike Lee.
Have you read the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood book yet?
I'm scared to read. Everything I've heard about that book makes me scared to read it.
The true story. Did Cliff kill his wife? The full story is in there.
I know the answer. I know the answer to that. Peter's reading it, just like, I'm reading this book. I don't know if I can get through it. Just so much.
I think I would need like the audiobook, but it needs to be Tarantino doing the audiobook, and he's just going on tangents as he's reading the book. Would be fantastic.
Yeah.
John, do we have any patrons to come in, or Mike to come in and ask a question?
Hey, look who's back. Hey, what's up, Chance? First of all, I want to see Paul Rudd in the Schmoedown. I just want to.
Paul would be fun.
I would like that real clear. What's it been like for you? Because I know you got kind of a commute between where you live and getting to the Schmoedown and all that. So, like, do you find that like the traveling can sometimes wear on you getting ready for a match when you go out to do them in the studio?
Not really, honestly, just because of that. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of road tripping, and I used to live in Texas, so crossing that state itself is like a journey. So yeah, no, I'm just someone who like travel, like being on the road so much it doesn't affect me. I traveled for vacations, traveled for school functions, traveled for sports, and did everything by the road. So it's kind of like a second home for me. So I'm always gonna be comfortable on the road.
Is there a place you haven't traveled yet that you really want to go to?
That's tough. That's tough, actually. You know what? I haven't spent meaningful time in Chicago. I've had tons of layovers there. I've never actually hung out in the city.
I was there for
place.
when they did the live event there, and I spent the whole weekend there because Top 10 was doing a show there. Ellis was taping a special, and so I spent 4 days in Chicago. It was one of the best. If you love food, that's a great food city.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Mike, do we have any other patrons or?
Oh,
No, not at the moment.
I think we're
Perfect.
we
well,
want to
that's
swing
okay
into the other
because
IG
we have
match?
chance for. Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Chance, you've been very generous with your time to also discuss this Saul versus Amaru Moses #1 contenders match. We're excited to talk about it with you. And Colin, go ahead and take it away, dude.
Yes, we had Saul, the once just a ambient voice we all heard in the Collider live call-ins, now has made his way all the way to the Schmoedown stage, going up against one of the scariest dudes right now, I think, in the Schmoedown in terms of just baby face assassins coming out of this rookie class. Mr. Amaru Moses, got Den versus the Suspects. This is a #1 contenders match, folks. As we get into round 1, Saul missing that Jaimin Hansu MCU question. It's a good one. Both missing the Zach being the Black Power Ranger episode. My 90s kids out there all cried out in terror at once. And both missing that Captain Picard quote, ending it as Saul 7, Amaru at 8. I throw this over to Boggs. How are you feeling here, sir? Saul makes that grand entrance, the first match of the first in-studio match we've seen in a long time. How did you feel, with everything going off the beginning?
Yeah, just nice to see them in the studio, and just seeing Amaru in a studio setting I thought was really surreal. Coming from that journey, because obviously, me and you, Colin, know that he played Mike, in a fan league match before joining Schmoedown, and seeing that and seeing him in the match, and obviously meeting him a few times, it was definitely a little surreal seeing him. But I mentioned it last week. I picked Amaru to win because he's got seriously cool composure, right? And I did mention as well that just my opinion that I'm not the biggest fan of Saul's the way he kind of sometimes has to snap himself back into matches and things like that, let's just say that, or and I think you could tell from his walk in. I thought he looked a bit nervous. I thought he looked a bit just not kind of the loud, rowdy, vibrant, confident self. I just thought he looked a little timid the whole way through, to be honest. And he said afterwards it was a bit of a strategic choice, which he thought he got wrong. And I just kind of from the first round, it was no surprise that he was down. But Amaru played outstanding. I thought just really cool and composed. And he was just he was just so much more relaxed, I felt. I thought he was more tense, and I just didn't like this version of Saul. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but I thought something was off, and I could sense it from the walk-in.
Yeah, and Mr. Barr, do you have a?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to chime in just with this, but then also kind of toss it over to Chance. For me, it kind of seemed like, and this I think sometimes might happen with Inner Geekdom. That's kind of what I'm curious about. It seemed like Saul was really second guessing that Jaimin Hansu answer. It seemed like he was kind of going through in his head, okay, it seems like it's 2, but maybe does that? That's at least how it seemed to me as a viewer. And I wonder if there is that kind of element. And that's what I wanted to ask you, Chance. Do you ever run into those questions where it's
is it just me, or is
he's gone?
Who knows?
No.
Okay.
Almost get it wrong because the answer and you're like, oh, it's too obvious. I'm asking, what happened to my Wi-Fi? What's going on here?
Okay,
This is fantastic. Bye, John. Please get it together,
We
man.
love you, John. We love you.
just going off of what I think you're talking about. You're talking about just the status,
Second guessing, I think.
second guessing yourself on answers that seem more obvious than they actually are, or that seem as obvious as they are, and you don't want. Yeah. So when it comes to those, usually your first instinct is correct, but you do have situations where you're just I think it's that, but that seems way too obvious. Am I wrong about this? Especially when and again, those multiple movie ones can get difficult, especially for example with MCU, with the MCU, where so many actors are in so many movies, and how many this one in? Does this one count? Because it's archive footage, whatever. But yeah, I think that it's easy to trip yourself up on those types of questions, especially those are some of the they can be some of the trickier ones in IG like that. Who appears in such and such franchise quotes, especially when they give you no context for them. I think that, yeah, I mean, it is potentially easy to get tripped up on questions like that.
That was my question.
Boom.
How about that?
Nailed it. The internet, we trust you.
Damn,
I want to give a shout out to
again.
the promo as well, though. I thought that was the best promo that I've seen in ages. Just of all the highlights, just the slow motion walk-ins. Seeing the first one again. Yeah, I just thought that they did a good job.
It wasn't that we were in it a couple times?
Oh, yeah. We were in it like 5 times. Yeah. That was shout out to that as well.
Well, over to round 2, Saul spinning Planet of the Apes, truly becoming a main stand in this 2021 Inner Geekdom season, making its presence known. And he seemed pretty damn confident about it. And Moses stealing the beneath the Planet of the Apes opening quote question. Saul only getting 6 out of a possible 10 points. Chance, what is your relation to the Planet of the Apes movies, and are they now your favorite films because of their introduction into this league?
They're not my favorites.
Okay.
I've seen them
good.
all. I've seen all of them. Would have done substantially better in that round, but I've seen all of them. Yeah, I mean, Planet of the Apes is showing up a lot. And the thing with that, it's only that's 8, 9 movies, I think. Yeah, 5 with the originals, and then the Bird and the 3 reboots. So, yeah, that's a category that can get very deep very quickly. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna keep it, you better know what you're doing. You better be up to snuff on those films. And yeah, I don't think Saul was up to the task. I think he overestimated it. Probably. I mean, I know he definitely would have spun away now. But yeah, I mean, I think with Inner Geekdom, taking a smaller category, it's not a bad choice. It's really not a bad choice if you know the movies. Especially in that Planet of the Apes where, it's hard to gauge, what is considered a deep cut question. Say you spin, Spider-Man or Batman. The deep questions there, they cut especially deep. Planet of the Apes, which isn't as trivia heavy as those, they can be a little bit of an easier road, but yeah, I think that Saul, he kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I would have done the same thing, but I know I'm prepared in that franchise. I think he overestimated preparedness, and he's probably hate watching all 5 of the originals right now.
Yeah, it seemed to me that I was more kind of I think I was let down based off his initial confidence in spinning it. He kind of gave off the puff the chest, we got this, and then walked away and felt like he was ready to go. And I guess it just didn't live up to the moment.
I see it. I saw it in this, and this is the one where I knew he lost the match. Is where he got that first question. You see him, his face just go Jesus. Yeah, that first miss just so jarring, and I just don't think he ever recovered.
Yeah, and it's once you get it, it's not about if you can take a punch, it's what you do afterwards in a fight. Yeah. And Moses just keeps on coming through, spinner's choice, selecting graphic novels, one of the deeper cuts and more anything can come out of right field in that round 2, getting 9 out of a possible 10 points, only checking down 1 time. The score after round 2 is 19-13 in favor of Amaru. I'm going to throw it over to you, Saul. This man, I mean, Amaru is truly showing the gambit of his, his knowledge base.
Yeah, definitely. And that was a weird choice, graphic novels there, too. When I think Spinner's Choice, you're going to go for probably anything else because graphic novels so broad. It's a new category. There's a lot of different, things that you don't even realize were movies that come from graphic novels. And obviously they have the list. But that was very much of that's an interesting choice. But obviously it worked out for him. Going a little bit back to Saul, Saul's been playing kind of that player that when he misses a question, he takes it very hard. And he either gets angry and he stays in that anger, or he lets that anger fuel him. In this game, he was not letting it, he wasn't having it fuel him to go on and keep being aggressive, it kind of like stuck with him, and it really messed with him throughout the whole match. You could see that in round 1, you could see that in round 2, and that's why at the end of round 2 I was like, oh, this is Amaru's game 100%, because Saul was just playing like he's very much upset with himself, and he wasn't like letting himself actually play the match in a calm way, or letting the anger fuel to play aggressively. And that's usually when he wins, is when he lets it fuel him to play aggressively.
I see Amaru's number one fan, his brother Emmanuel, is in the chat saying he Ryan Leafed it. If you know, you know. Sorry, I had to. Got him on that one. Round 3, we get right into it. Saul got his Commander Lock question. I mean, he pulled that. I mean, I think that was, he would even admit that was, that came down to the wire for him. And then Saul got his Alien Synthetic question. I mean, those stump me every single time. Saul missing the Batman Forever quote 5-pointer. Throw it over to Mr. John Barr. This round 3. Not a whole lot needed to be done for Mr. Moses. It ends in a TKO, but Saul still put up a good fight.
Absolutely, he did. Yeah, I mean, it was tough watching him kind of try and navigate through that round 3 to the best of his ability. But yeah, sometimes, certain things are out of control. Sometimes you let yourself fall into a hole. Sometimes you just start second-guessing yourself one too many times. Sometimes your StreamYard just decides to slow you all the way down when you're trying to do anything. It happens to the best of us. It's certainly not something where I'm going to look at Saul as like a trash player by any stretch of the means. I'm not letting this guy start to get tossed down the well of oh yeah, they were never really that good to begin. No, Saul is still definitely someone to keep an eye on in the inner geekdom. But for me, I definitely was somebody that was not giving Amaru his full due. I think part of it was just obviously in that Jesse Swift match. He himself admitted that he didn't love the way he played. I mentioned it when we were giving our predictions. Obviously, the Moose Haas match was kind of a weird one to watch and get a vibe for both players specifically, just because the answers and the score kind of existed in this weird vacuum, which, again, obviously out of everybody's control. You got to do what you can. But now that I've seen Amaru in that live studio setting, now I'm looking towards that match he's got with either Chandru or Mike, and I'm real curious now, especially because I still don't know who's going to win that one. So now to have to be oh, there's a match I can't call, and then a match I can't call either way immediately after. That's that part in Loki where you just see all the timelines branching off, and you're like, oh, God, what's going to happen? How many alligator gods am I going to have to fight?
And yeah, I definitely had the lane was open, but now it is closed to say anything about the shorts that Amaru stole from Ludacris from 2004. But now he has to wear them in every match. That to me, that's a vibe. I don't know what it was, but now it's Amaru's vibe, and I'm here for it. Chance, I have a question for you about Amaru, this new crop of IG players that we have coming in right now. Given that this season with the expanded, movie-based branching out, they don't have to readjust to, being able to focus on so many different things. They're coming in with the same, level of understanding that y'all are. How does this group compare to the ones that the last couple years, in between from when you've come in and now? Is there anybody, aside from Amaru, we just gave him a lot of praise, but anyone that's really sticking out and just being dang, I gotta watch out?
Yeah, I think Moose Haas is pretty solid. Other than that, we haven't really seen very many rookies, have we? I mean, Jacob Whitney, sure. But Swift also, sure. But yeah, I think that the rookie list for IG has been pretty. I can't think of very many rookies we've seen this year.
Yeah, now that I'm looking back, it's not a good question.
I mean, the class is fine. You got 2 good standouts, and they have the other guys. But yeah, no, I think that I don't think it's the greatest class we had all the time. I think that last year had a better IG rookie class. That's even saying it's not counting myself because I technically wasn't a rookie last year. But yeah, no, I do think that, and I think that it's only going to be a bigger league from here on because you have other players who want to hop in. I've heard whispers of other players who want to hop into the geekdom that I can't talk about right now. But yeah, I think this is going to grow to be very, very interesting in the future.
It's definitely my most anticipated tournament coming up. I love the Star Wars tournament, but the IG matches just like the Star Wars tournament, those questions, those matches come down to like 2 questions. And I know when the 2 questions happen, and then you can probably dictate what's going to happen with the rest of the match with the flow. This IG tournament, if we can get these people who cannot be named into, taking some swings in this tournament, like, I would love to see Paul Oyama come back. I was sitting here last year championing you, championing Paul, being like, let's go for this 3 belted shit. Let's go tear it all up. And you guys do that good. You can do it if you want. And I know you have that in your path, that's something that you really want to do. And that would be the ultimate thing. I just think that like right now, IG has stepped its game up with what they're, offering you guys in terms of questions. I mean, I think this year is some of the wildest stuff we've ever seen.
No, I agree. I think that it's kind of like Star Wars. It's a different game now, and you gotta evolve with it. I'm excited to get back. I'm excited to get back to the ring whenever I get my. I don't know if I can announce if I'm gonna be in the tournament or not. But if I am,
I think
I'm excited to get back in the ring.
Did
did
on Rundown if it's a name you just mentioned of somebody who you like.
Oh, okay. I was talking about me specifically, but I know that's public. I know Ethan being in is public.
Yes, not what I was talking about, but yes, I will sit here.
He was talking about a gentleman by the name of Moose Haas.
Yes, I believe they mentioned that last night on the after show that is coming out. So Ethan and Paul in round 1 of the IG tournament. That's what this is the kind of stuff where it's like, I don't care anymore. I'm just here to shove popcorn in my face because now I just want to see what it's like the head in Rick and Morty. Show me what you've got. And that's it's kind of where you can do it now.
Chance, I got a question.
Yeah.
Chandru, Mike, I saw, if anyone saw Twitter, Chandru had taken a few shots at you guys, saying these are your IG kings, you're only getting 9 points in the IG mixed bag round. Thoughts on that match coming up, and also what t-shirt are you wearing?
Oh no!
Oh damn!
Oh,
he hated
you
that.
Scared
the
of
question was so terrible.
I mean, I don't know why I'm ragging.
Is he on
you,
John's
Boggs.
internet?
Jesus, yeah, right.
Boggs, what are you wearing?
Inter Milan tracksuit.
Yeah, he's
They sell
incorrectly
those
not
there?
wearing. He's incorrectly not wearing
Yes.
Inter Miami gear.
I mean, they're not very good, so is that
fine.
Sorry.
Shout out to the Charleston Battery, the #1 team in the Division 2 in America. We appreciate it. USL.
Cool.
Welcome back, Chance.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Like
Just blame Bill Gates. Or not Bill
Me
Gates.
neither, dude.
Nope.
It's John Barr's internet. He got to you in Arizona.
Yeah, clearly.
In fact, my StreamYard told me that another application locked me out of my camera, so that was a fun thing I got to have.
What was the question?
Chandru and Mike. I was saying Chandru's taking shots at you guys. Only getting 9 points in a IG mixed bag category. He was like, these are your guys, kings of the IG division. Wait till I take it back. And what t-shirt are you wearing as well?
Oh, this is my Die Hard Funko Pop shirt.
Oh, it's Die Hard. Okay.
Yeah. But as far as Chandru and Mike, look, I mean, that's not. It's not doesn't hurt. It doesn't sting because we saw this coming a mile away. It's like, dude, you're so easy to predict. It's just not fun anymore. But look, we know we underperformed in the IG category, but who feels that hard than anybody? Mike. And he's going to go at great lengths to make sure he doesn't underperform again. Mike. So let me tell you how the rest of this is going to go for you, Chandru. Because, if you win this, you're out of the tournament. So when Mike beats you, keeps his belt, that's it for you. We do not have to see you for the rest of the season, and that's it. That's an ability that we're all looking forward to. So look, I'm going to paint you a picture. This is how the rest of the season is going to go. Mike is going to beat Chandru, send him on his way. Then Mike's going to beat Amaru. You had a good run, buddy, but it's over for you. You're not taking that belt off of anybody, let alone Mike. So that's it for you. And then we can, the Family Four, we can just go ahead and bury you. All four of you. Get a big-ass casket, and you can just share it all together.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think we're good here, folks.
Yeah, I think that about does it. That said, Chance, do you have any words for the people at home regarding your own future? Obviously, we know great things are coming from Mike Killer Kalinowski, but as far as what you've got coming up with this IG tournament, with the singles tournament possibly as well, what should the people be
Jeff
on the
Snyder,
lookout
right?
for you? Of
Jeff
course,
Snyder.
Jeff Snyder. I almost
Yeah.
forgot. Oh, please beat him. Oh, please beat Jeff, please. I like it so much.
That might be the hardest thing Boggs ever picks in his life.
Great match. Great match.
Yeah. As far as my future goes, I mean, look, you saw what happened to Shazam. You know that after that, losing that close, I am very, very pissed off. And Jeff, you get to be the first recipients of that. When I take you down, when I end your career, and when I prove that the Player of the Year moniker you got, by the way, remind me, how many points you scored this year for your faction? TUSA, pal. See, when I'm done with you, you're going to have to give that award back out of pure embarrassment. So you're done. Now, for teams, let me say something. I'm fine saying that we will be in the tournament because it's an inevitability. Y'all know it. 8-4, 2-time champs. We're going to be in the tournament, which means the rest of the 14 of you, you have two choices. You can try and take us down, or you can get down on one knee, kiss the rings, and maybe we'll let you walk out with your Denny still intact. What am I saying? No, you won't. We're not going to do that. But you said to us, you're going down. Enter Geetum. If Shannon decides to cut me loose in tournaments again, doesn't matter who's in front of me. I won the whole tournament last year without even thinking about it. And you know what? If I get turned loose again, I'm just gonna do the same thing. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. Erwin, Oyama, Parker, Swift. Doesn't matter. In the end, you're gonna fall to me, and Corruption's gonna be back on top.
Hell yeah! There you go. Oh man, everybody,
Yeah.
start lighting some candles. Start.
I was gonna say get the fire extinguisher to put this man out.
Do both. Light fires, get ready to put out fires. Do it all.
John
'cause
Burgess
corruption
wants
brings
more fire.
I love fire. Ooh. No, Chance, thank you so much once
course.
again for gracing us with your presence. We're so excited to see just more and more and more of you in all three of these divisions. You have a lovely rest of your Sunday, man. Rest
Thank
up
you.
and get ready to kill.
Go ahead, have a nice day.
Hell yeah, dude.
All the best.
Have a good one. All right. Well, with that, gang, we have one final match to be talking about from this collision event. We're going to go through it a little bit quickly just because we got some other stuff to talk about. But obviously, it is a big match with some big consequences because we have Kevin Smith of the Quirky Mercs, the newly minted #1 faction in the standings, worth noting, going up against Marisol McKee of Corruption, that deadly faction we were just talking about. And we have a new contender for the belt. But I won't say it just yet because we still have to talk about the match. Ooh, suspense. Obviously, looking at the first round one, we have a little bit of what we were. Hold on. No, we got a cat. All right, I can't talk about the match yet. We got a little cat. What's the cat's name, Colin? You can't hear my question yet. You're not wearing your headphones. There we go. What's the cat's name, Colin?
Tempo.
Tempo. Oh, that's so cute.
Tempo, say hi to everybody.
Tempo's not gonna say hi. That's okay. Tempo's just like this dude's. This. I don't know who the dumb dude is with the hat and the beard, but his Wi-Fi is gonna give out in another 5 minutes. But yeah, looking at round one of this match, we have a little something similar to what we were just talking about in the Saul Amaru match. But whereas Saul maybe started to second guess himself a little bit too much once he got that first miss, Kevin Smith came into this with a real self-defeating prophecy. Obviously, Marisol was talking about how she thought it was a little bit more of a strategy kind of going in, and we can talk about the merits of that in a second. But, I mean, Boggs, obviously, we're talking about Kevin Smith, who had several dominant performances under his belt, and then didn't in this match, just straight up didn't. What were your thoughts kind of coming out of round one?
I was thoroughly entertained because I thought, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, he was literally saying, I've stoner blanked and just missing questions, but he was like close as well. So obviously the Gene Hackman, Gene Wilder thing. I feel like he knows who directed Wonder Woman 84. He just literally, I don't know, just blanked or too just too distracted or not focused enough. But I forgot where I heard it. Maybe we might have mentioned it last week that someone thought, or maybe someone in the chat did, that they thought that the gameplay would catch up with him, and it turned out to be true, right? It was literally the gameplay. It was answering the questions. You know, it's about concentrating, about using just about especially with the last point, last question, but we'll come to that later. But yeah, just overall, he just didn't seem, I don't know, it was funny, I guess, but not as good as his previous matches, because he has got perfect rounds before, I believe. So only having 5 against Marisol is not good, because she is probably going to go perfect. But yeah, it was funny. I will give him that.
Yeah, certainly an amusing round 1 from Kevin Smith. Obviously, there's no world in which he was going to win that Cate Blanchett challenge, but, it was funny, at least, when he used up his one challenge on Cate.
Cate, I don't know. But it's hard, right, for, Christian, because, he is a legit, awesome director. How do you kind of handle that? You have to kind of... I think Shannon mentioned something about bending the knee. So but I understand the predicament he's in. He's pushing back on, right.
Oh, listen,
we've got rules, but you kind of have to, pander to him a little bit. So.
I work at a restaurant, and obviously the big thing that's always preached in restaurants and customer service is that the customer is always right.
Right.
And as somebody that has to be the one that's working, it's always nice when you get to be in a situation where you just get to say, no, the customer is objectively wrong by any and all standards. And then I just get to make fun of this person. I get to make fun of someone.
Hard agree. Agree.
Right. And also hard agree that Marisol McKee, incredible first round, had a little bit more of a stumble when it wound up coming to Reese Witherspoon in round 2. Not a awful round, certainly. 5 out of 8 points. That's nothing to sneeze at. Especially because then Kevin Smith was not able to get the 1 point that she even left on the table with that far off place multiple choice. But then Kevin getting Matt and Ben, doing his little head nod, which again, you want to talk about a dead giveaway that maybe someone might be a little bit under the influence of a substance while on camera. That was kind of the one for me where I was like, oh no, buddy. Oh, but it worked in this case. It didn't work for him remembering the name Cate, but it worked for his 2 boys, Matt and Ben. Fun fact, Matt apparently just said something scandalous on Twitter. Everybody go check that out. That's just saw that pop up on my feed.
Hot news.
Hot news. Scoops McGee. Saul, I'll bounce it on over to you. Coming out of round 2, 14-13, a lot different of a deficit that we saw coming out of round 1. How impressed were you with either or both of these competitors? Obviously, especially when it came to Kevin Smith closing that gap.
I think Marisol played it well because she was up 4 points, so she knew she could go down on multiple choice. She knew that she had a little bit of wiggle room in round 2, and that's the nice part about going into round 2 with that type of lead, is that you can be like, okay, I don't have to get 2 points for each question. Where it's kind of the opposite with Kevin, he had to get each question right. And luckily he did get on Matt and Ben. And he was super excited about it. And I love, too, the stoner mind there when they're like, it's famous Matts and Bens. And he was like, oh, no, did I just pick wrong?
No, it was like Jeopardy. I thought it was like Jeopardy, right? Where it's like Matt and Ben, and everyone is a different Matt and Ben. It was possible. Who is?
But
all right, question number 1. Dermot Mulroney was it now?
Whatever, I messaged Boggs during this, and I was like, Kevin Smith is super, but super high right now. That's literally...
I don't know if you guys watched. He does a show with Mark Bernardin on the Fat Man Beyond, and he's now, because they're on Facebook, you can't smoke weed on Facebook. So he's like, kids, I'm smoking a cloved cigarette. When I feel stressed, I would like to inhale a nice cloved cigarette. And you're like, no, this is worse. It's
yeah, before he would go off screen and then come back, but now
he's just like, screw it, I'm gonna lie.
Yeah.
Come test me, Mark Zuckerberg. Come test. And speaking of testing, Marisol was requesting performance-enhancing substances, but I feel like if he didn't play with performance-enhancing substances, she might have put up a bigger fight in that round 1 and not have just been fresh off of the hit, which, I mean, from personal experience, first 10 minutes, you're out of it. But you sometimes can click into that, Eye of the Stoner and just start rattling stuff off. You're like, oh, gee, look at me. I didn't even know I could do that. And I think that's really where he was in round 2. And the confidence carried over into round 3 until 3 came to bite him in the beef.
I do want to bring up real quick Chris Chandler in the chat saying, kind of spits in the face of competitors who bust their backsides to compete in the Schmoedown. So yeah, there has been some talk about the fact that he isn't taking it seriously, being high during the match. Obviously, super entertaining for me and for Boggs as well. Said it was entertaining. I'm sure all of us found it very entertaining. What's your guys' thought process there on that controversy a little bit?
Okay, to me, if that's what it was, I thought it was like not the gamesmanship stuff. That's where I thought that was Chris Taylor. That's where his thought process was going. But if it's the weed stuff, we've been sitting here watching people drink on screen for years. What's the difference? If they choose to sit there and drink wine or whatever they're drinking when they're in studio, there's no difference. He knows where his brain's going at that point. He knows what state he's putting himself in. I feel like, if we're not gonna, say the same thing about people like drinking on set when we were doing that back in the Collider days, and it was obvious. Like, people after the end of some of these matches were getting pretty toasty. It's all right.
I mean, it's one of those things where I guess it's like, hey, if you're comfortable taking the L because of that, then like, hey, fair enough. Like, there's a good chance that maybe if Kevin hadn't been so toasty, maybe he wouldn't have been as testy when it came to some of the wrong answers that he got. I get it. Sometimes you get high and you convince yourself of certain truths. It can happen. But I think, in a certain extent, maybe we don't want those drug results back just in case the judges then go like, well, let's maybe do another redo of this match. But just to talk very briefly about round 3, I don't really want to talk about it that much. But obviously the match came down to Kevin missing his Scary Movie 3 5-pointer. He tried to issue a challenge saying that he was putting in a pause in between Scary Movie and 3. Like I said, I obviously don't want to speak for everybody here. I'll just quickly say that my thoughts are no, and obviously no. That simply is not the case. You can watch that match and it's pretty clear, no, you just got it wrong. The judges, Christian and Mark, I think made the perfect, appropriate decision. I do think it's a little bit annoying that Kevin pulled such a shenanigan, just because it did kind of dour the match in a way that it didn't need to. And obviously we are going to talk more about it because it's getting put into a storyline situation. But at the end of the day, I can't be that mad at what was ultimately a good match and ultimately Marisol putting on a great performance and absolutely earning that #1 contendership. At the end of the day, I'm putting all the nonsense behind me, just being excited for Marisol, my fellow Philadelphian. That's going to be a heck of a great match, whoever she goes up against, Dan or Ethan. Boggs, I'll bounce it on over to you. Any final thoughts as we close the chapter on this match and look towards the future of what Marisol has got coming?
Yeah, so first of all, as well, actually seeing them together after doing the interviews, like at the start, to seeing Marisol and Kevin Smith there, I did think, wow, that's super weird. Just like Marisol and Kevin Smith there. And just on the round 3, I thought he actually pulled the 2 and the 3 were quite good. Like the Red Dawn question, who's Tom Hanks's question in The Money Pit, which is a 1986 film, Shelley Long. I didn't think that was the easiest round 3 question. He got that. Quite impressed. And then it was, good effort with Scary Movie.
He got close.
Yeah, I thought legit. And then because when he said it, I was like, did Christian cut him off? So I rewound it. There's about a 3-second wait. It's not a second. Yeah. Like if it was a second, I'd understand. You've got a thing here to potentially be upset about. It was like 3 seconds. It was like, it's a Scary Movie. You'll win it. It was like that. It was not like a second. It was way more.
And also worth noting, because they're bringing up the Drew McWeeny situation in the chat. If we remember, that was a situation where it was sort of like outside of 1 second, like just kind of in between that 1 and 2. And Drew chimed in and was like, no. I meant to say like this. Whereas Kevin Smith was like, Scary Movie. And then that was
and
it.
Obviously, when he said "as you winner," that's when he's realized he's probably said the wrong one. He said he was doing a bit, but there was no evidence that he was doing a bit.
And
so-
again, great to point out again that Mark and Christian did their jobs to
They
the
handled
best
it
of their
great.
abilities.
Great,
And
yeah. Because it's hard. Because it is hard.
It.
Because he is a
Yeah.
big deal, right? So he's putting them under pressure, putting it on Christian, and I thought they handled it really well. So yeah, they didn't cave in. They didn't give him another challenge or anything like that, even though they kind of might have been half tempted to. But no, the right thing was done. But I was entertained by it, to be honest. Because just watching him getting a little emotional about this, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Hey, it shows he cares.
But the right winner won. Yeah.
And then we saw the post-game thing afterwards with Coy giving Christian a call on the FaceTime, and that just proves that Kevin's not. This didn't sour the game for him as much as that was kind of his attitude, where he's like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like, this is stupid. You guys, took away my toys or whatever. But no, he's clapping back. He's using his manager as his microphone, and he's going to do his thing. I think the one point that, and Boggs, you briefly touched on it being weird seeing Marisol and Kevin Smith on the same marquee, is they both took vastly different routes to get to this point. Like, the argument is definitely there for somebody to say that Marisol deserved to be in this situation more than Kevin Smith did, and Kevin Smith was put in this situation, and was successful. You have to win the matches. Got to not taking any victory away from him, but that is definitely where the disdain in the chat of like, well, is he taking this seriously? He hasn't had to. Because the Jericho match was great, but those two dudes didn't study for that match. That was just a pay-per-view show match. And now it's turned into this thing where it's carried on. But unfortunately, folks, if Kevin Smith takes this seriously, watch out. Because he's not taking it seriously, and he just took a contender to the third round and almost pushed her to her 5. So, I mean, all the disrespect that whatever you want to throw out for how he handled it, the dude can answer some trivia. And I think like that cannot go by the wayside. And if this is kind of that chip on the shoulder that he carries with him in the next season, or a spectacular match that they will probably give him, it'd be great. He makes a better league.
And it's also worth remembering as well, like, as much as this is a match that we're coming out with a little bit more of a sour taste in our mouths when it comes to Kevin Smith, he's put on several great performances that we all quite enjoyed. Like, I've got nothing bad to say about how fun his match versus the Flirt and Flouse was, how much I was really pleasantly surprised by the way he handled himself against Stacey Howard. Like, the dude can definitely be good at this, and at the end of the day, I think we all can kind of agree there's more positives to focus on than negatives. And we've covered the negatives, so now we get to move on and just talk about some more positive things. And at the end of the day, that's why we all watch this dang thing, is for some entertainment. Speaking of entertainment, another match that was pretty entertaining, gang, would be Nicki Dimalanta going up against Johnny Hoey of The Dungeon. The suspects having a heck of a great week. 3 different wins under their belts. Now the number 4 faction in the standings as well. Obviously, I shouted out already that the Mercs are up to number 1, but the suspects just climbed up really phenomenally with Nicki, with Amaru, and then with a third. Oh, well, it's lightning time. Already, the math gives it away on that one. But yeah, anyone have any quick thoughts? Because obviously we're at 2 hours and 11 minutes. We only have so much time. I'll start over with Saul. Do you have any quick thoughts you wanted to discuss when it comes to this Star Wars match?
I just want to reiterate how great Nicki Dimalanta is. I picked her in this match because I have seen her play along with the matches, and not just like Star Wars, but singles, teams, IG, and Star Wars. She's played along on her YouTube video. I think they also like play along on their Patreon if you're a part of that. I'm unfortunately not a part of their Patreon, but she's been playing a lot. And so the fact that like everyone was super surprised coming in, and I was like, no, I've seen her play along to these matches. So I wasn't surprised that she came out killing it. So just props to Nicki Dimalanta. I also want to give John Hoey like his props as well, because both of them played a great match.
Absolutely. The Star Wars division is not an easy division to get a win, and we've seen some great competitors not able to pull that W for one reason or another, sometimes just because of who they've got. And we're talking about John Hoey, who's coming out of this with 1-1. Like, he went up against a really tough he went up against 2 really tough competitors, and it just so happens that one day he managed to be the stronger one, and today he just didn't have it. But definitely a great performance. Missing
That
only
life
the
zone
two-
question. Boggs, did you know that
I'm
shit?
literally reading it now. Like,
Boggs, are
life
you
zone.
fucking
I know.
serious, bro? That was round 3 stuff. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
are you guys serious?
Damn.
Life zone?
Never heard of
Where is that?
Never heard of that. Yeah.
That's
Is
made
the
up.
best-
In a
best
world of
in
made up
atmosphere
shit,
breathable
that
to
is
me.
made up. Y'all made that one up. I've never heard that. That is wild. But Nicki Dimalanta had heard of it, so that was wrong.
I forgot Lin-Manuel Miranda. He was
Yeah,
the
that was-
whole
yeah, that-
thing. For
I was
years.
pulling the Ed Sheeran thing because Boggs, correct me if I'm wrong, Ed Sheeran was on the set of 9. Or was he on?
I think he's in. He's a stormtrooper in one of the.
He's a
I think-
stormtrooper in one of
yeah.
them. That was
Yeah.
what blasted out in my brain first. But yeah, the Lin-Manuel Miranda pull. I mean,
That was my only
fantastic.
thing, John, with this match. That first of all, I'm one of them, Soul, that you mentioned that I doubted Nicki Dimalanta. Because I've seen her interviews. She's very passive about it. She's don't expect much. I've never played a match for. I'm not very good. I was like, what the hell am I watching? Like, she's pulling like this round 1 question extremely hard. Went perfect in the whole match. I was a little I think John's apart from the best wing lifestyle question, I think some of his misses were like just brain farts though, and I was a bit gutted watching them. The possession Anakin question in what is forbidden, and yes, and the Lin-Manuel Miranda question. Because to be honest, I thought that was just general knowledge. Like he helped wrote a song in The Force Awakens as well, and obviously The Rise of Skywalker. I just thought that was just general knowledge, and him to say Shaggy, but I believe he did post something I saw where I think they parodied a Shaggy song or something like that. Anyway, so
But
that
still,
was his
that's what we're talking
explanation
about
of
with
saying
Star
Shaggy.
Wars, right? 3 questions. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about 3 questions and somebody going perfect. That's what we're talking about here in this league. Every single, I mean, you in some cases you could just run the track of us talking about another Star Wars match and just flip the names because it's really what it comes down to. Somebody has a brain fart in round 1, somebody goes perfect, and that's what we get every single time. It's why it's like it is the peak of talent. What they have to pull, God, Life Zone, seriously.
Boggs, Nicki hustled you right there. She
Yeah.
played a great game of like, I'm not very good at all.
This was the not to pat myself on the back, but this is the only match I got wrong all week out of all what was it, 7 matches, right? And it was because of her. She punked me. So
Well, I
was
got
glad to be
most
proven
of-
wrong.
I got most of them wrong. I also picked against Nicki
I know,
Dimalanta. Probably won't be doing that again, but hey,
Nope.
it's good to know that we have at least one competitor who's got nothing even close to an ego. Good on you, Nicki Dimalanta. We're happy to have you here as we bounce on over then to Lightning Time versus Danger Zone. 2 really polished teams, 4 of the better players that we have. Generally, like these are folks that could easily get inducted into that Hall of Fame once it finally opens up, which we're hearing might be pretty soon. From what I remember, again, a tight match, no perfect round 1s, but like so few points were left on the board, all things considered. This was a high intensity match, and wow. I mean, Lightning Time, the hats. That now y'all understand why I'm wearing hats all the time. There's something
Sure.
about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Soul, I'll start over with you. Just general thoughts on this match.
Yeah, it was one of those rare moments where Murrell misses a question, everyone else gets it, and it was just like one of the, ooh, is this what this match is going to be? And then he gets the next question and everyone else misses. And I was like, oh no, they'll be even. But my favorite thing, I'm always here for Ben Bateman losing. So Ben Bateman losing a match is always a happy day for Soul.
Oh my goodness gracious
Wow.
me. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, he did not make it easy though. Obviously, Danger Zone when they spun Lucasfilm, 11 out of a possible 12 points. Like they were only 1 point behind coming out of round 1, and then they were only 1 point ahead coming out of round 2. Like this was really like neck and neck, like truly just a match won in inches. Sort of similar to Jesse Swift and Jacob Whitnaven. Albeit this was just like a lot more of just like those couple, like those 1 or 2 minutes. Let me see. I'll do some math real quick.
They did. They had 6 misses total in round 1 between the teams.
6 misses total between the teams. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, Colin, what were your thoughts on this match?
I mean, that's it. I mean, that's round 1. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points missed by Danger Zone in round 1, and they lost by 4 points. So at least you're able to look back and be like, okay, cool. I know where this match was lost. Yeah, Murrell gets sunk by the Burbs once again. That's why it's just one of those things. And yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say that, yeah, like obviously, and Dan mentioned it himself, obviously, at the end of the match, and was saying like, yeah, so friggin' what? I missed 2 questions about the same movie, whatever. There's millions of movies, which like I think is fair. You know, definitely memes are also fun. To be fair to Dan, like definitely I get it. Like it sucks when it's like, oh, people pigeonhole you as just the guy that can't remember the Burbs, which is a fun movie, and you know, I got basically every pick wrong when it came to picking matches for the week, but I did have that one answer. So that's the only thing that allows me to still be qualified to host this show. But I mean, a fun match all the way around. Boggs, do you have any final thoughts?
Other than I think Ethan Erwin is the best player I've seen this season. Like, I think he's playing that good. That's why I picked them to win. And spoiler, that's why I'm going to pick him to win the title when it drops.
Wow.
I think it's next week, right, on pay-per-view. So
yeah,
yes.
that is next week, and I gotta think about.
He is the best, especially for 3 rounds. Like, well, I know it's a 5-round match, but like he the way he's playing and like he's spinning, like he's beating Oyama, he's beating Bateman, now he's beating these 2. He's spinning things that he's not really. I think he spun Audrey Hepburn or Spinner's Choice or something against Oyama. You know, I think he got. I think got 8 and a 7 out of that round. But the way he's playing is like wow, like he is the best singles player I've seen this season, and it just came to fruition in this match. Like excellent play. You know, them 2 together, really like it. Yeah, obviously they were unlucky with the 5, but yeah, I know Dan made a big deal out of the Burbs, but you know, I had no intention to do that. I think he kind of brought it to attention really. More than it needs to be, but yeah, it was a tough question because it was about a character name and stuff, so unlucky there. But yeah, I'm telling you, Ethan Erwin, pick him next week, John. Do yourself a favor.
Fair enough. Somebody just hug Adam Wett, the poor guy. I don't think he's gotten a win in Star Wars. I don't think he's gotten a win as a manager. You know, I just want to hug him because he's too good. He
has won as a manager before, though. I think it was it last season? I do remember him winning. Leo Logan on that.
He oughta. Somebody put him up against Kevin.
Someone
Smith.
find it. Someone find it.
Yes, that was an incredible match. And then we also got the first match of the singles tournament. We don't have a full bracket yet, so it's hard to say exactly where we go from here. But where we go is a similar place to where we've been going this whole time, which is all eyes on Josh. We really got to figure out what's going on with this guy and if he can be stopped or if we've just got the new Adam Collins on our hands. Because I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, Adam went on an absolute tear in singles and only got 1 loss that season in teams, which is, I guess, what's been going on with Josh right now. Because I think, or no, did Press Room lose twice?
They lost last year.
They lost 1-1, right? They beat the Outsiders.
Gotcha.
Sorry, they beat the Outsiders.
And also like, you know, part of why I was kind of like worried about this match is because of how great Jen Kempe was in her last match, and she was great again in this one. Like, we're talking about another match where similarly there was a point deficit coming out of round 1 just because Jen missed the one Dr. Strangelove question, and it seemed like maybe that would inform the rest of the match. But then coming out of round 2, we were completely tied up once again. Colin, your thoughts on Josh Horowitz versus Jen Kempe?
Put my flag in the sand, folks. This is my new guy. This guy cannot. Like, I don't know what he's bad at besides apparently. He gave him black cinema, but he missed 2 questions. I mean, that was fine, and I think that was strategical in the sense to not check down to multiple choice, but he made the wrong call because apparently Jen Kemp's got a little time at the cookout. And she nailed both of those calls on Death at a Funeral in Regina Hall, which was pretty damn impressive because he that was strategical in his sense, right? Had to think like
Regina's.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta watch out for them Reginas. And then, you know, her spinning Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, it's tied 15-15 going into round 3, y'all. I mean, like, this is a barn burner of 2 players that have raised their own stock over the last 2 months with their performances. Jen Kempe is, I mean, her average in round 1 is stellar. She's either getting, 7 points or it's a perfect round and she's getting 9. And, just missing that no way out 5-pointer in round 3 just gave Josh the opening for the little man Tate 5-pointer.
That's right. It wound up being close as all get out, even though it did show the 5 points as a differential coming out of the match. There was no question that this was hard fought, and there's no question that I'm excited to see Jen Kemp wherever she might wind up. I think, unfortunately, this might mean that her season has come to a close. Who knows? We might be able to see her around in one way or another. I guess we don't officially know what the team situation is going to be for S.W.A.G, so it's entirely possible we'll get at least a little bit more love for Pop Quiz. I don't know why S.W.A.G keeps doing why is it all got to be exam related?
Awful teams. Yeah.
I don't know.
I love it. Okay?
What's swaggy
and
about
also,
being in school?
I love that team.
There's nothing more swaggy than staying in school, Colin. That sounds like something that they would put in a Dare video, doesn't it? That sounds like something they would
I know what's swaggy. Turning in your homework on time and making sure you're ready for those pop quizzes and final exams.
Kids, there's nothing
See,
more
I will
gangster
not
than
stand
washing
for this
behind your
swag hate.
ears.
I will not stand for this swag hate.
It's not hate, it's just questioning of nomenclature.
Mm-mm.
No, fair enough.
Swag, drip, drip.
There you go. Those are Soul's final thoughts. Boggs, do you have anything to say to put a nice little bow on this match?
Just thoroughly impressed with Horowitz. Honestly, like him going perfect. Jen did just miss the 1 in the first round, which is unlucky. The career question, but then he spins Black Cinema, and I found this really interesting. Like he missed 2, but he was so close on both of them. Like guessing, what was it, death at a funeral instead of death at a wedding. All the way around, sorry, death at a wedding when it should be death at a funeral, and Regina King instead of Regina Hall. So you feel like he knows them, or he's just getting kind of the last name wrong, and I just found that really interesting. And then he obviously stole 1 point back off her, and if he would have just pronounced them correctly, he would have went perfect this match. So I did feel like it was the right outcome. Like I was willing him to win during the match. I was just thoroughly impressed by him, and I even thought his 5-pointer was hard as well. Like,
hell yeah,
Jodie Foster. The one movie she's directed. Like he's an interviewer. Like for him to know that, I think that's really impressive. So I was thoroughly impressed with him, honestly, and I quite liked Coin this match as well. And I was kind of more excited for him going into Spectacular because the way he kind of broke down the way he broke down in between rounds with Horowitz, and because obviously the whole missing the 2 questions, then getting 1 steal, then just putting that confidence in for him, I quite liked it, and it kind of put me kind of gave me confidence going into Collision with with Shazam. And well, it was like it was the Koi show, wasn't it? Collision was. So having them in, I was going in after the way Koi was with Horowitz, I was really impressed. So Quirky Moats killed it all Friday already.
Absolutely.
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say other than we got to see what this bracket is looking like. Because where was it? Yeah, Jeremy Miller saying in the chat, Josh will play Video Drew or Griffey Nooms. Like, all the amount of sheer fire that we're going to be treated to. Oh, it's absolutely crazy. And speaking of, let's look at some of what we've got coming down the pipeline. We have 4 great matches coming up, 3 in singles, 1 in Inner Geekdom. Mike, if you're available, we'd love to have you join us on screen. If not, that's all right. Our producer is busy. Look at him. God bless you, Mike. How are you feeling, dude?
I'm good.
Excellent. Well, I hope you're feeling good enough to start us off with predictions as we talk about.
Wait, we got to do our standings.
Oh, yeah.
John, you always forget.
Real quick.
I'll get you one day. I'm going to get you one day.
Real quick, guys.
Every week.
Tushka just sent in a last-minute stream I want to read real quick. Says, can't believe I missed my favorite show with my favorite guest, Laura Kelly. # Sleeveless in Seattle. # Sleeve It to Beaver. # Sleeve Brittany Alone. # Sleevey Wonder. # Boggs is still wrong. # Boggs Beef.
Sleeve Brittany Alone. That's the one that broke something in me. That's the one that
Mad Max Sleevey Road.
Stressing me out, this guy. Who even is this Tushka?
Tushka, thank you so much, and also don't ever do that again. Thank you so much. I swear to God.
Also, real quick, just wanna let everybody know. Unfortunately, Rocha is not going to be able to make it. Kind of last minute, just doing his watch along, MCU watch along with the Lady Outlaw. Ran a little bit long, and timing we're just not going to be able to make it. But we'll get him on again in the next week or two to come on and talk some stuff. So don't want everyone to think like, where's Rocha? Where's Rocha? I mean, he's here in spirit, so it's fine.
Okay,
It's
so we're
his
gonna
channel.
start from the bottom here, right? Like, or are we just gonna get Boggs out of the way? All right, so Boggs
No,
at
no,
the top.
wait, Colin. This
Slow
is
down,
my
baby.
thing.
Let the girl do her thing. Yeah, relax.
What's
Go
happening
ahead,
to
girl.
us? Huh?
Hello. It's
My
like
Sorry,
you
wife-
haven't
it's
been
2.5
here before.
hours into this.
You have.
It's getting
It's like
late.
you haven't been here before. But anyways, like I was going to say, Mike is in last place, 3 points. Following
Look at me,
that,
I'm
John.
Most of my guesses got right this past time.
And you have John Barr with 45. You have myself
Yeah.
with 58.
Oh, no.
Boggs,
Oh, no,
I
no.
saw your
Totally
comments
skip
saying
me.
Mike's gonna
Totally
catch up.
skip
Yeah,
me.
I did that on purpose, Colin. No, I'm just kidding.
You
Colin
wish you
with
did it
47.
on purpose.
Myself with 58.
Did we all just like take a step back for like, oh no, what's
That was a
Sean
swag
with
stare.
52, and Bugs with 68.
oh my
How many
God.
Sean's on?
What
Did you say
happens when
so?
You get too loud in the library.
Sean has 62.
Oh my God.
You're
Yeah,
a
buddy,
whole
I
week
think.
of messing up ahead of him, Boggs. You're a full slate ahead.
Yeah. Well,
I got to step out, guys. I'm getting a call from the boss, but
That's
Soul,
all right.
you can read my picks online.
I'll read your picks, Mike.
Fair enough. Well, starting off with the first pick that we've got to talk about, we have Robert Parker of the Dungeon going up against Jesse Swift of the Mercs. I'll call it for Robert Parker. Jesse, I love you, buddy. You've had a rough go of it, and Robert is somebody that like was just in that #1 contendership spot. To me, right now, he is kind of the top dog. Similarly to how he was last year, but hey, that just leaves you room to pull a chance upset now, doesn't it? Let me place a chip on your shoulder real quick, Jesse. I want to see your full potential. Soul, bounce on over to you, and of course Mike's picks, and I guess Sean's picks as well. Is that what we're doing?
Sean has not put his picks, but I do have Mike's. Unfortunately, I love Jesse Swift as well, but I am also going with Robert Parker, and so is Mike.
Fair enough. Both of them have their picks. Boggs, how about you?
a few people in the chat saying Parker by TKO. I mean, it's a possibility, but I'm kind of rooting for Jesse. Like, I like my underdogs, and I kind of want to say Jesse, but I will be sensible and I'll pick Parker.
Cool.
But I wouldn't be totally like. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Jesse can win. Like, I think he has potential. Whether if he wins this one, I don't know. But if not this season, next season he'll do bits.
Yeah, very diplomatic of you, Boggs. I get it. I dig it. Colin, how about you?
Clean sweep for the Spider. I think Jesse's going to give Robert everything he has, but unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough.
There you go. We got a lot of faith in spiders over here. That's
It's
what
Spider-Man Day, so
Oh, is that true?
yeah, it's
God,
Spider-Man Day.
Probably have some Spider-Man shit I can throw on last minute. I don't know. I'll figure it out by the end of the show. But next up, we have to talk about our first of 3 singles matches. And gang, this one's scary. This one freaks me out. We have Jacob Blunden of KOrruption, who put on a fantastic performance in the free-for-all, going up against William Bibbiani, one of the longest reigning champions in multiple divisions that we've had for a second. This one is scary, and that's why I'm going to make Boggs answer first. Boggs, who do you have winning?
Long time coming from Blunden, I think, for him to get another match. But I presume this match was filmed after this team's match. The way Bibbs played was awesome, I thought. So I'm going to go for Bibbs again.
Right.
I want to see. I think he needs to get. This is the first round singles tournament, right? So I think that's a fair, the seeding wise is a fair matchup. But I would have liked to seen him against someone else who's maybe the same amount of experience as him before playing Bibbs. I think it's a bit early for him, but it's tournament seeding how it works, right? So I'll go Bibbs.
Yeah, I think there's definitely room for Jacob to pull an upset. Obviously, I believe it was Liz Shannon Miller who beat William Bibbiani last year, which I think I might have had Bibbiani winning that tournament. So that was a huge wake-up call for me when it came to Liz. And I'm tempted to vote for Jacob in this just because, again, he is a monster and there's precedent. But I think, again, yeah, because it's the round one, because Jacob has only had that one regulation match, even though it was like a nearly friggin' perfect match of his.
Yeah, he lost on a Tarantino 5-pointer to Jacoby Bancroft. Yeah,
yeah,
it was 19-18. No, not the but that was the score.
Just absolute tough. This one's gonna be a barn burner. I think this is probably gonna fall somewhere in between like Bibbiani's match versus James White and his match versus Liz, where I think it's gonna come down to the wire. But I do think Bibbiani will still be the one eking out the win. Colin, what about you?
Same, Bibs.
There you go. Saul, just say your pick because we do have Mike who will be able to tap back in.
I'm also going Bibs.
There you go, Mike. Saul was kind enough to share your pick already with Robert and Jesse, but who do you have for Jacob versus Bibbiani?
Bibs, hands
down.
Okay,
there we go.
Another clean sweep.
You got a clean sweep. Well, how about this next match though? Jader Paramo of the Den going up against Paige Frabetti of the Suspects. I'm on the Paige train, gang. I'll just go ahead and say it. That is where I'm planting my flag. Is right now Paige is one of the most
Raise your hand if you're picking Paige.
Oh, are we doing it this? Wow. All right. Fair enough.
I think my StreamYard's freezing.
Let's bounce it over to Colin first. What's got you agreeing with me, dude?
I just love her energy. And not that I don't also love Jader's. There's just something about the way that she carries herself in a match where, no offense, she didn't give a shit about anyone. Like, in these matches. Like, she just comes in, answers these questions, and moves on about her life. And, I mean, she keeps studying them, but, like, if you are in her way, you're in her way. And she doesn't care who you are. And I think that is something that is going to carry her a bit further than people think she'll go in this tournament.
Fair enough. Bouncing on over to Saul. I don't know. Did Jader maybe just share some secrets at his birthday party where he was like, "Here's
can
exactly."
They both win? Can they both win?
No.
See,
we can get 5 rounds of sudden death, certainly.
Right. I love Paige so much. If it was against anyone else, I'd be going for Paige. But
obviously not.
I went to Jader's. Oh, true. But I went to Jader's birthday party. Like, I've met him in person. Him and I drank together. Like, there's a bond there. I have to choose Jader.
That's fair. And Boggs, you're on a similar train of thought?
Yeah, and he did call us family, right, Saul?
Yeah, he did. He did call us family.
Because I consider you guys family, so I hope you guys feel guilty for picking Paige. So 305, baby. That's how you do it, right?
Yep.
I'm picking Jada. Wow. No, obviously, shout out to Paige. I'm just playing, but no, I don't know. This, something about Jada that I think he can crack, like the top half of the division, but he needs luck and all that stuff. But I think he's just got that ability to do that. So I'll pick Jada.
It's that classic combination of luck, skill, and
someone ban Tushka in
concentrated
the
power of. No, he's right. See, he knows what family is. Fast and Furious.
Sure.
Mike, you're with me and Colin on this. Any final thoughts to say?
Yeah, you guys might want to change your picks if I'm picking Paige. No, I can't bet against Paige, man. I love, like Colin said, I love her energy, and she's a firecracker, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's infectious. Yeah, I got to go with Paige.
There we go, 3-2.
Is this the first time we're about to pick a match that's like being filmed as we're doing this right now? Like, I think this is probably the first time that we like know that what we're about to talk about is literally happening right now.
Today, yeah, true.
Oh, that's
I was gonna say this just in. Sean Barreto is currently writing his picks in right now. So he also is picking Robert Parker over Jesse Swift. And he's also picking Bibbs over Jacob Blunden. He's currently right now writing the Jader versus Paige. We don't have that yet.
So you're just watching the show and
I'm watching the line.
We
he made an extra space, folks. He clicked the space button. He's thinking real hard.
Oh, he's putting in the thought. Okay.
Oh, this one stumped him, it seems. Sean seems to be stumped on this one.
The first two he wrote super quick.
Super quick. We have a live look in, folks. If you're just joining us now, welcome into the Ultimate Schmoedown After Show document as we look to see what Sean Barreto's picks will be for Jader Paramo versus Paige for Betty.
Does this count as doxing? Is that what we're doing to ourselves? I don't know. Hey, it's fun to know that we at least know what Boggs and Mike picked for the next match.
Looks like internet went out in L.A. or the Apple Store seemed to have found out that he was not where. He's picking Jader Paramo! He picked Jader Paramo! Oh my God, folks!
Come on, Sean, he's watching. You copied all my picks. I don't care. But
what an absolute horse race we had here today, gang. Wow, that's 3 for 3. That's a 50-50 split. Here at the Ultimate Schmoedown After Show when it comes to Jader versus Paige. So, we're really going to have to keep that one on the calendars. I get it.
Or we could probably bring it down to tell his picks when he puts in
John.
Ethan versus
Well, at least we have a match that's, of course, very easy to call. What is this? Dan Murrell versus Ethan.
Oh my God, he's writing again! He's writing again, folks! He is typing Dan Murrell's name into the document!
Well, we don't know for sure that it's Murrell. He could be talking about a different...
Dan Merlot!
Merlot? This could be
Dan Murphy!
Dan Murphy. He's got okay. Now we can say for sure.
Dan Murlock.
That makes more
Dan
sense.
Murrell.
Oh wow. Wow.
Murray. Nope. That's nope. That's not what we want here. It's nope. This they pay for the faces.
The document had like little chapters. That's very cute. Look at that.
Well, that brings me to a point that Boggs made earlier. Ethan Erwin is currently playing the best out of anyone in the singles or teams division. We've seen it last 4 matches. Saul just typed in Ethan Erwin a little too quick because it's Dan Murrell time, folks. It's back. He's going to take this and it's going to be unbelievable. I think he's going to thrive. I think Dan loves this type of environment, and I think Scum and Villainy is hot for Dan.
There we go. A bar with 0 sentience is hot for a man. Saul, who do you have winning this match?
I'm going Ethan Erwin with this one.
There you go. Boggs, I don't
have to give my reasoning. I'm just going with Ethan.
I can tell you were just like, I don't know, dude. Why are you asking me these questions, John? Boggs, I know you picked Ethan. I saw it. Why? Why would you do such a thing?
He's the best singles player in the game right now. Coming off a Yama, Bateman, the teams matches. I just love the way he's playing. I know it's 3 rounds and 5 round is different. It's live in studio. In studio is different. Who are these guys that are touching the show? But yeah, just as well, Dan's obviously coming off a couple of teams losses, back to back, with Danger Zone. Obviously lost final exam and lightning time, right? So just momentum's with Ethan, the way he's playing. I'm going Ethan. I'm going for the upset. Is it an upset? I don't know, but underdog maybe.
There you go.
Ethan Erwin for the win.
Yeah, fair enough.
Did you just put a tilde or did you just put an accent over Jader's name? That was nice. That was nice. Sorry, I'm watching Soul. This is live. We're still doxing over here.
Gang, we still have a show to do. We got 20 minutes. Just please. Mike, what do you have?
I got a bunch of weirdos in a show. No, I got Ethan Erwin on this one. Ethan is he's one of those guys, to use a boxing analogy. I mean, when he hits, it's like you're getting hit by a freight train. And Dan is, Dan's the, allegedly the GOAT. But yeah, Colin, I said allegedly. I don't know, man. I think Ethan's coming on that upswing. I think he's ready to send himself shooting back to the top again. So I'm going with Ethan on this one.
There you go. Fair enough. As for my thoughts, we got to look at the history of this, right? When you look at the history, if I'm not mistaken, Dan Murrell is up 4-1 over Ethan Erwin. The only time that Ethan Erwin beat Dan Murrell was a 3-round match. None of these 5-rounders. When it's come time for the actual belt, Dan's always been the one to retain it. when we look at the history of title runs, especially when it comes to Dan, he seems to be the kind of guy that doesn't really lose that belt up until the very end of the season, that like last final match, and then wins it up at the top of the next season. Like, he tends to be that person who's got it for like 8 out of the 12 months, is calling swatting away a fly. I get it. I have some of those. All of the math in my mind suggests that Murrell is going to hold on to that belt. But Boggs picked Ethan, so I'm also going to pick Ethan because I need to get the answers right. Also, like Boggs mentioned, I drank once with Ethan Erwin, so by the same logic of Saul being family with Jader, I got to pick Ethan. I got to pick that Fate of the Furious family. What can I say? So there we go.
That's the one you went with? There were 9 movies, and that's the one
remember.
You went with?
I've only seen up to Fast 5. I heard that like they get back to being ridiculous past Fast 5, but like it was one of those things where it's like because 4 and 5 were like just enough self-serious, I was like, I don't care about this. I liked it when they were dumb and ridiculous, like Too Fast, Too Furious. What a fun thing to say.
I'm too fast for y'all, man.
That's
and it's Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Well, gang, I think that's probably gonna do it for us on this episode. I think that's where we're landing. 2 hours and 44 minutes. Heck of a show. And you guys know that we're gonna be talking to John Rocha sooner rather than later because he's got some things to say and all of us want to hear it. Let's just go around the horn real quick. Mike, any final things to plug?
Just guys, thank you so much for always tuning into the show. We love you guys who are here every single week with us, even when we have to do it on an off day at an off time. Please continue to support the show every week. Come join us live. We have a lot of fun, obviously. Find me online anywhere, Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Mike Shea.
There you go. Boggs, how about you?
Yeah, I agree. Follow Mike Shea. He is a good follow on Twitter. Very funny, entertaining. I will confirm. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching so much. Thanks for all the Streamlabs, super chats. Please like the video, comment afterwards. You'll get shouted out on the show. Next week, back to Saturdays, 3 PST. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Apologize about Rocha not coming on. He's obviously still doing another show, so we'll get him on soon, as don't worry about it. But thanks everyone for watching. Check us out on the Pop Culture Universe. You want to see us doing other things, reviews, reactions, that kind of stuff. So yeah, check us out.
There you go. Saul, how about you?
Yeah, check out me gushing over The Witcher, and then also Boggs and I talking about Bad Batch on Pop Culture Universe. So go check that out.
There you go. Colin, what do you have?
You can hit me up on Tuesdays. We'll be doing Real Sports with me and Matt Thomas over on Watt Entertainment. And then on Saturdays, you can catch me, Toby Barkwell, and Matt Thomas doing Saber Reels. Get into that Star Wars stuff, bro. We just love Star Wars around here. Apparently, I don't. So maybe I should stop posting a show.
All right.
Two quick things, John. Two quick things. Sorry to interrupt. Tushka is such a weirdo in the chat. Firstly. Secondly, you guys, is Suicide Squad not released in the US yet?
It comes out on Thursday here on HBO Max.
Yeah, it's already out in the UK, so I have seen that. So,
you've seen it?
I see.
Yeah, anyone want any spoilers, please speak to my agent, Sean Barrow2, on Twitter or Facebook.
You should drop your Cash App just to make sure people can...
Yeah, can we re-highlight that? I got to pay for car repairs, y'all. Come on.
Yeah, please support Colin if you can, gang. Also, thank you so much for supporting us generally with the Streamlabs and the Super Chats. That was huge today. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much to everybody who dropped questions in the Discord. Patreon.com/John Rocha is how you can get to that. As for me, I'm just sorry my internet broke twice in 2 very different ways. What a fun thing that turned out to be. I'll have to figure that out for next time. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have some calls. Thankfully, who knows, but I'm not as There you go. I don't know any better note to end the show on, so let's just end it there, huh? Thank you so much for watching. We'll see y'all Saturday. Bye.
Bum ba da bum bum ba da bum bum.
Play the intro, Mike.
That's better.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, instead of having all these out of key